I think it was Ryan from Don's Foundation is out of town until the end of the month. So some of the stuff he could not get figured out. So I would think we'd have to defer this one just to...
Do you feel it's appropriate to ask them to attend the next meeting, though?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Cheryl, could we add that to our list, please?
For Vogels?
Yeah. That being said, I'll make a motion to defer this until the October 16th meeting.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion to defer to the next meeting by Ms. Dessauer, a second by Mr. Beal. Roll call vote?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer? Yes. Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Moving on to item number 3, 7500 West 129th Lane, Barkowitz. I believe, so Mr. Barkowitz is not here. I was informed a couple days ago that the property did sell. I did look at GIS today. I noticed that it is still under Mr. Barkowitz's name. However, it is on the realty site that it was sold on the 7th of this month. But that doesn't fix the problem.
So do we have this new buyer's info?
I have nothing.
Okay.
So here we go. And I did speak with the gentleman who informed me that we don't have to deal with Mr. Barkowitz anymore, but that doesn't mean that we don't have to still deal with the house. And so that was not good news for me.
So to confirm, this is on the list, though, with the building department. Should that new buyer come in and try to pull a permit, that is red flagged, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we
Right,
need to wait,
yeah.
right, until the...
I mean, technically, Barkowitz had the obligation to inform the buyer and the
Yes.
town as to who the new purchaser is. That hasn't been done yet, so the best you can do is wait for the information to get updated online, I guess, because take a minute here while you guys are going through your next ones. I'll look on the recorder's website and see if anything's come through, and we would have the new address for a new potential buyer.
Yeah, and I know GIS usually is delayed a bit. It's not as accurate as what...
A couple of weeks usually does record
Yeah.
sales, so...
But nevertheless, it's well past the 5 days that they should have notified.
Yeah, I mean, you tell me it was the 7th, so 11 days ago.
So we'll have to keep an eye on that. I will as well, to see if that updates sometime between now and then, so we could send a letter.
To the new owner.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would
We have to
think,
wait 2 weeks if that updates sooner, we recognize that.
Yeah.
nevertheless, I think this still would need to be on the agenda with whoever the new owner's last name is for update, but not update on, to actually be still active, but with the instruction that Ryan will look into tracking down the new owner.
Do we know what his first name is, Mr. Barkowitz?
Bart.
Well, it's Bart for short, but it's...
Bartholomew?
No, it's not Bartholomew either.
Joe?
There's a J in there, and an I and an E, and a few other things.
That's helpful.
Jim?
Yeah, if you look on GIS, it has his full first name though.
It's a weird spelling.
Yeah, I'm not gonna even try to pronounce it. So I would say we have to defer this till the next meeting, for Ryan to try to look through the records to see, as far as the sale goes, on who the new owner is.
Filibuster here for like 2 more minutes, I might have...
Oh, you'll be able to look now? I didn't know if you'd be that
We're
quick.
batting 0 for 3 here.
Yep.
Not a great way to start the meeting.
Although it goes by quicker. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, we'll turn.
I'm sorry, I had to say it.
Blood pressure's already up. We're
Yes,
on
it is.
Item 3.
Hey, mine's been up for about a week and a half now with all this, so.
The website has been updated, the warranty deed was recorded. Looks like the new owner's name is Nikki, N-I-K-I, Arterburn, A-R-T-E-R-B-U-R-N. Just trying to see if there's any other address. The only thing it has here is to send the tax bills to 7500 129th Lane. But that's the new owner, so I guess we can always see if we can track down Nikki and see what other addresses exist for Nikki.
Okay. I would also like to,
Could you spell that last name again, please?
It's A-R-T-E-R-B-U-R-N.
Okay, thank you.
I would say this would have to be deferred to the next meeting with, trying to reach out to, the new owner, but also I'd like to see if we can have Tony go over there and do an updated, inspection report, since this one was done, several years ago. Which we're gonna be asking the same thing on Cagnina, which we don't believe we have a report on the one.
Yeah, because this was done before he was even aware of it.
Correct.
2020 or something crazy. Okay, so, that being said, I would like to defer this for 30 days. We'll work on tracking down the new owner. And also, let's give Tony in the building department the direction to do an updated report and photos on this before the next meeting, hopefully.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second to defer, till the next meeting, with instruction for Tony to do an updated report, and also to reach out to the new owner. Can I get a roll call vote?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Sessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Keel?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Item number 4, 8120 Lakeshore Drive, Bank Shots Bar and Grill, formerly Shane's Bar and Grill.
Hello, good evening, guys. Joe Lopez, 8120 Lakeshore Drive, Bank Shots. How you guys doing this evening?
Good, thank you.
Okay, so the update now is, by tomorrow, the next day, you guys should have all the comments back from Adam Pine off from the engineer. We are waiting for, the other engineer, the lighting engineer, to give us what we need for Don, for the comments that he asked for. This week coming up, I will have some concrete barriers brought out there for the perimeter of the property, and the machines, everything, the dumpsters will be brought out there, and we'll start working on, getting the roof off and everything, and cleaning it up. But I need till next week to start it.
Okay.
We're gonna start, I wanna make sure I had the perimeter set up with the barriers for safety reasons.
Yeah.
The front of the building's pretty close to the road, so I'm gonna put some concrete barriers up there.
And did you already pull the permit then for the demo?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, I've had it for a couple weeks.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure.
Jobs that I had, so I got, I just wanna make sure we have the proper help and all the proper machines and everything that we need, to do it right.
Yeah.
And have a nice, clean, little process.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but everything else, like, all the comments for Don should be delivered tomorrow, the next day. I spoke to Adam today, I spoke to him yesterday, I've been speaking to him, all week about, all the updates and everything, so he says he's 90% done, so it should be done any day now. And then I've been speaking to the other, lighting engineer, he's getting what Don requested, comments he sent to him, getting those ready. And so, by next meeting, we should have everything. So I'm trying to get
The
everything.
next work session for Plan
Yes.
Commission, right? Is that the one you're talking about for them with Don?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping to have everything, all the comments back to him for sure, beginning of next week. I'm just waiting on the lighting engineer. But Adam McPine is gonna be finished up with all the comments that he had from Don. Those will be finished up this week. So,
Were all those answered
yes.
for your understanding?
Yes, yep. I'm just, like I said, I had to hire another engineer, to take care of the lighting engineering part of it. He didn't handle that. I was in contact with one engineer, he I've been trying to contact this guy for 2 weeks. He's like, I'll get a hold of you, contact back to me. I got no response from the guy. I'm calling his office, leaving him messages, so I had to hire somebody else. That kinda delayed me a little bit, but I figured when somebody does business like that, I don't wanna do business with him anyways, because he's already, left a sour taste in my mouth. He was not returning my phone calls or nothing. If he's doing that to me, I imagine he'll do, to the village, so.
The lighting is probably pretty low on the list of priorities from,
Yes,
I mean, that's something that can get worked out in the next month. The hope is that by the time we come back for that work session, that we can button up some super loose ends and then vote on this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I did speak to Adam, and, he did say he was 90% done, and that was yesterday. When I spoke to him today, he says really hopes to have it turned in tomorrow. But I'm not Adam, I don't wanna.
Right.
I know he's right there though, so hopefully Don has it. And I know Don wanted it a couple weeks prior, so, hopefully he has everything he needs.
Yeah.
But like I spoke to him, everything seems fine. Next week, you guys will see action, and you guys see, some things being done over there, Like I said, I'm gonna take that roof off next week, clean up that deck around there, get that sign down. I just don't wanna go start dropping stuff, you know, the road being real close, the power line's pretty close. I wanna make sure, you know, I got everything that I need, all the proper machines and everything.
Okay.
And I got the proper perimeter coming in too, for safety reasons for the road and for us.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay, so.
And then we'll still want to see him back at the next meeting, because there'll be plan commission work session, which, I mean, I'll be paying attention to that as well. Or what's your thoughts?
Yeah, hopefully,
I mean-
when, in a month, on October 16th, we're voting to get you approved, and you're done with both of these.
Sounds great.
Well, I guess you-
Nevertheless, this meeting will happen prior to the...
Yeah, so you
I'll
need
be
to come
here,
in.
I'll be here.
Yeah, he'll be here for that meeting anyway, so,
Yeah,
okay.
And that way, next time you guys will see the progress done, and you guys will have what you guys need.
okay, great. Did you have anything else you wanted to share?
No,
Okay.
that's pretty much it.
No, yeah, thank you. Thanks for the update, thanks for staying on top of it.
Right, I just, you know, I told you guys a couple weeks ago, the last meeting, I wanted to have stuff done, but I couldn't rush it, I had to finish up a couple jobs, and then I wanna make sure I do everything right. When I run a job, I wanna make sure it's run properly, you know, I have all the proper equipment and everything,
Yeah, I appreciate that.
so.
Okay, I'm comfortable giving a deferral then until the October 16th meeting. Please stay on top of Adam, though, to get that to Don.
For sure, I expect to have this come.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second
That
it.
I'm not having.
All right, we have a motion to defer to the next meeting by Ms. Dessauer, second by Mr. Beal. Can I get a roll call vote?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, guys.
Lopez.
Good evening.
Thank
You too.
You too.
Be safe out there.
All right, item number 5, 8705 West 132nd Place, Kubiak Properties.
Good evening, all.
Good evening.
Tim Kubiak, 9080 West 428th Place. The house, we had it sold supposedly, that guy backed out, isn't buying it now, so, I was gonna get a demo permit and just get it tore down so we can rebuild it on the foundation. We can't get a demo permit unless we can't rebuild it unless we have the plans and get a demo permit, rebuild permit at the same time. I thought the rule was you had 6 months to do something, but so, we had a lady, the Ideal Homes lady, drawing up a plan, a new floor plan. We're just gonna actually take that thing completely to the foundation and then rebuild the same footprint, 2-bedroom little house back there. So, that is our game plan. How long she came there and measured everything, she got some preliminary plans done, so I'm hoping to be able to, I already have PGX lined up to just come and take the house and throw it in a dumpster, and then we'll start over from the foundation and raise up 2 courses of block so it's above the road, and just rebuild a nice little 2-bedroom house right there in that same spot. So that's our, unfortunately, until I have the plans, it's gonna be, if we tear it down, or if we get a demo permit, then that voids out getting the same rebuild permit on that same setbacks and all that.
Until you have the plans.
Simultaneously, correct?
Right.
So it's kind of a,
This might not be the time for this conversation, but I thought that was the thing, was the 6 months.
that is true, but it's not.
Yeah.
We looked, and I thought once you did it, you had 6 months to be able to redo, but it's not written that way at all. It says that it has to be done simultaneously.
I just feel like I've had these conversations before.
Mhm.
Where's everyone pulling 6 months from?
I was under the same impression, that's why I wanted to go ahead and do it, and then Michelle's like, nope, you can't, you have to, if you do that, you're gonna have to go for a variance and all other, and then we got out the book and it clearly said simultaneously, so. It kind of thinks
Yeah.
that, I mean, we need to really fix that because it prevents, you know, I mean, if you do the one thing before, I mean, it would be no big deal just to get it down unless, but then you lose that option to rebuild without going.
Yeah, I was
That's
under the impression
counterproductive for me.
100%, and that's why we've been discussing some stuff as far as tweaking the zoning ordinance for issues like that, because it,
Well, it would certainly help some of these get off this list.
absolutely.
If we can say, take it down, and then we'll give you, you know, the
Right,
6
the
months. I
time
think
is,
that's
you know what I mean,
reasonable.
that would make perfect sense. I was under the impression that we were gonna do it for, you had 1 year, and then I was told it was 6 months, and now I read it.
Simultaneously, yeah.
I have 6 months for sure in my head. I don't ever remember hearing a year, but I don't know where I would have heard that from.
And it's been said to me that way also, that there was 6 months, that's why I thought that was the rule. So that's the game plan. We do have a floor plan already she's got, so I would anticipate that you know, as soon as I can actually get a permit turned in to do it with the proper blueprint, then we're gonna start. So at least we're gonna get the ball rolling.
What's the difference then, how did Lopez get a demo permit?
He's not completely tearing it down and rebuilding though. I think his demo permit was for him to start the project to get the sign off.
Yeah, some people just do the initial interior demo and.
And he does have
Starting to get it.
more of a plan than where they're at right now. If I would, you know,
Yeah, and that house, I mean, it needs to be raised up 16 inches because it's below the road right now, so to just try to fix it is, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what needs to happen to make it right, so. And it's already been, I mean, 10 years ago, before my brother bought it, they gutted, the whole thing's, there's all that's there is the shell, I mean, it's not.
Bank Shots is using existing walls
Yeah,
and
they're
stuff
not
like
tearing
that.
the whole- Right.
Yeah.
They're tearing the roof off.
Remodel.
So this is a complete tear down
Yeah,
to the foundation.
you could probably look at it that the foundation is still there, so I don't know where that line in the sand is.
I guess that's in my brain, that's what I was
It
thinking.
does say simultaneous.
Yeah.
You gotta turn in everything together, so. That's where we are though, so it'll be, I would anticipate that before the next meeting, it'll be down to the foundation at least, and then we'll get a we'll have that permit to repair it or redo it right there in that same spot, so.
Tim, I know parking is tight over there, what is the, right
It's
now,
gonna be
we're-
just like it was before, I mean, there's parking to the west, or to the east side of the house there,
is there a driveway?
well, there's just grass there now, but, I mean, the hill could be extended back a little bit more to get, you know, it isn't the greatest for parking.
Will there be a driveway though with parking?
Yeah, there's gonna have to be, I mean, my dream, depending on the budget or what happens with this thing, I mean, it would be awesome to be able to put a foundation and to add a garage to that side where you could actually have, you know, fill it in some and have a garage for it, but at this point, it's gonna be, there's plenty of room to have a driveway or parking on that side. The hill's gonna have to be extended a little bit further to the south, but it's not nothing.
I know
mean,
it's
there was,
tricky.
before we kinda tore out all the concrete and stuff that was there was a little gravel drive where you could park, but we kinda since then just kind of made it into grass, so it was easier to keep it mowed and take care of it. But there's definitely a place to, I mean, maybe a little retaining wall or something, but it's gotta happen, you gotta have a place to park. I mean, there's only probably 6 feet between the road and the front of the house, so it's not enough. I think the previous people just parked maybe in the road and a little bit over to the side of the hill. I don't know if you live over there, probably.
Exactly what they want.
Right.
Parking is definitely a question.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully with the driveway being created though, that'll eliminate,
Oh,
if
yeah.
it's a 2-bedroom house, we're only gonna have 2
Right.
cars, you should,
It
maybe
should be
3.
fine. Yeah, there's plenty of space on that side to provide parking, even if we have to put, like I said, a little retaining wall or whatever, but we'll make it good,
Okay.
make it work.
Well, I'm glad this 6-month, well, the mystery 6-month thing
Yeah.
is being looked into, because I think for situations like this, we're gonna see a lot more when we start adding to this list, where, if we can provide people a way to get the demo done, and then let's allow some grace with a rebuild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great intention, that little core cottage zoning, but it really changed a lot more from where it was to where
Yeah,
it is. So.
I don't know how that got missed, I remember being a part of all that surprises me, but.
Yeah, there was some things in there, like the time and making it, actually moving the house to make it better, and there's still some of that in there, but a lot of it is missing, so I don't know what happened during the process.
You guys are looking into it though at the council level?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it'd also be more planning commission level. 'cause
Well, you guys are gonna get it going, like, ignite the,
Yes, that has started.
okay, cool. So by next meeting though, you'll have the plans complete and then we can talk from there?
It should be ready to go, so I don't know what you guys wanna come back before you release a permit to get for there, or if we go, once we have that, then we do.
And that's the thing we've been discussing lately at the last meetings on not to delay fixing, you know, so what's everybody thinking with that, you know, because I know we said if somebody can come in before we've instructed, you know, for people to go with Tony or the building department, if the plans presented, you know, in the scope of work and everything, that they'd be instructed to be able to pull the permit.
That's what we've been going towards, because if people want to move, I don't want them to have to wait an entire month. He might get his plans next week and be ready to go in, get the demo rebuild permit, get the house down.
Still show up as an update.
We need to be updated in a month, but my feeling is that if he gets his ducks in a row and can go in the building department, show them the plans for the rebuild, get his demo permit, and get moving
Then there-
before October 16th, why wait until then?
And then also, if that is what the case, then I believe we also said that there was no need for them to show up at the next meeting then, if everything was,
Yeah, I guess you're right, why be here?
you know, because then why be
Well,
on?
moving forward, and again, I guess the thing that, I mean, we did turn in a permit in a scurry last time to do it, and then the permit was good for, I mean, it was a $1,500 permit, good for 60 days, so it kind of is, you know, if you're gonna start working on it and then be at the mercy of this board to come in and say, well, we don't like it, we're still gonna continue tearing it down,
Yeah,
or whatever the case is, but it kind of is so basically, you know, you can't get the job done in 60 days, and you know that, you know, are you gonna pay, I mean, if you're only good for 60 days, are you gonna charge, you know, 1/12 of the cost, or 2/12 of the cost?
That's not what we've been doing though, we've just been doing the normal year permit.
well, there were some deviations from that, and Tony and I have had some discussions. I know we had discussions in building department meetings on certain ones that were only issued, but that was more for like partial demo kind of stuff.
Well, the one that
But
I
in a case
turned
like this,
in,
it would be a
the
year.
one that I turned in was done, and it was good for 60 days. And that was to basically redo that house on the same foundation, so. And I didn't end up doing it, because I'm like, I'm not gonna pay $1,500 and not be anywhere, because didn't really have a plan, but it was kinda like. But that's just a question, like, if you're given that, and I talked to Rich a bit about
That was
this
for this
too.
house?
Yeah, that was for this house. Because we turned in when my brother came, we turned in a plan that we were kind of thinking about doing there. We already had kind of an idea, and it was like you know, well, we'll just get the permit, and if that guy's gonna fall through with buying it, we're gonna just do this and move on, you know, but.
But we didn't approve a 60-day permit for that.
I'd have to go back and look, I do not recall.
Yeah, that was what Tony said, so I don't know, I wasn't here, but that was what it was, so I was kind of like.
And that's where,
Going down that
Or
road.
was that done through the building department? I don't remember ever talking about a 60-day permit for this.
I know we have for other people, you know, for.
Yeah, maybe he just assumed that was, I don't know, but that's what it was. So
Yeah.
he said that was by the direction of you guys, so I don't know.
Yeah, the only permits I remember shortening up were like, first of all, we had extensive conversations with the people, but it was like PC stuff, like
Right,
little
right.
bits of stuff, and it
Get
was,
something going.
we don't wanna give you a year to correct this, because in the past 3 years, you haven't done anything with it.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right, which makes
You kind of
perfect
just
sense.
stay on top of them. But it was renewable at that point, it wasn't, they came in 45 days and said, hey, we're not done, this is our progress. The plan was to extend
It
them.
was more so to get them back in front of us.
Right.
Right.
And not leave it a year up in the air.
Yeah, so I mean, that was what happened with that anyways, but at the end of the day, it didn't matter, but I just don't wanna, I mean, I don't wanna pay $2,000 or $1,500 for a permit and say you have 60 days, and then and again, I know, you know, I mean, I've been doing construction my whole life, and sometimes in 60 days, you're like, wow, you guys are awesome, and then sometimes in 60 days, you're like, what have you done for 60 days, you know? So
If this thing
depends
gets,
on the 60 days.
if
so.
this thing gets demoed though, and then it starts your building permit, it's no different in my brain than any other home, or any
Right.
other person that comes off the street and says, hey, I have a lot, I wanna build.
Right, exactly, right, so then you're gonna have a year to get it
A year.
together.
The only question I have with that though is that if you do that, then what's the restraints on the demo? Like, does that just allow the place to sit there for 11 months?
Yeah, it kinda does, but I guess in my mind is once you come to this board and you know that you're in the board, you're here, and then that year does go by, I mean, now if you're back after that's happened already, now is the time where you have, you know, either you gotta tear it down or you got, you know, I mean, you have time that you have to perform, but I don't know, I get it, I mean, I get both sides of it, but I guess just the, you know, if people are gonna say they're gonna do it, they at least need to have first opportunity to fail, I guess, but, or. to
We
do
allow
it.
a lot of opportunities to fail here.
Oh, I know, I've seen it in a lot of ways, but again, I don't know the proper answer, but it seems to me like you know, if you've failed already and you're saying you've got 60 days to make some substantial progress since you've had a year and you've done nothing, that makes perfect sense. But to take people that are saying we're gonna get a permit and do it and say you got 60 days to make progress or we're gonna keep you on the list, it's like, well, then put it on the list, you know, or whatever, but you haven't given you know, an opportunity to get it completed, so.
Dave, did you have something you wanted to say? Okay. What are the, I mean, I guess, again, we're getting off track here, but is there a way to make, if someone gets a demo and build permit,
To have a stipulation on how soon the demo part gets done?
Yeah, make the demo be done within 60 days.
is that like a piece-by-piece decision, or is that something that could be written into?
In my mind, it can be drafted into the ordinance or the code that provides for it, and create a definition of what we're talking about, and you change the time period.
So for now, until that's done, could we, just in this circumstance, say if they get their ducks in a row, and then before the next meeting, and they go into the town, we're saying that we can allow the demo and rebuild permit with the stipulation the demo has to be done in 60 days. We can do that like in our motion.
You could.
Yeah.
You're an adjudicative administrative body, you can do that.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair, that's, you know, I mean, I get it, you gotta get the ice sorted out of the way or get it going.
So then if that demo doesn't get done in the 60 days, then you would be without a permit.
Or back here,
Yes.
talking
Right.
to you about an extension.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and again, that's, you know what I mean, I think that's at least, like I said, then, I mean, your permit is good for your permit's still good for the 1 year, but you gotta get phase one. I mean, in the Lake County, you have 30 days to get your first inspection when you pull a permit for a new house. You know, so when you pick up your permit, you have to get an inspection within that first 30 days.
Do you want 30 days instead of 60?
It don't matter to me, you know.
All right, let's trim it up. Let's say 30.
I got
Love
it
it.
lined up to get it down, so, fine. Make
Yeah.
it 5. Give me a challenge.
Okay.
Don't get too aggressive.
Yeah, my pen's out. I can go more.
I'd be happy with the 6.
Need ready?
No, you're getting 30 now.
Let's see if I can do it.
I'm ready for a motion.
Okay.
Okay. I'll make a motion to defer this for the next meeting, October 16th meeting, with the understanding that if they are able to get their plans and get into the town before that, we would approve a demo and rebuild permit to be issued, with the stipulation that the demo has to be done within 30 days.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Ms. Dessauer, a second by Mr. Beal. Can I get a roll call vote?
Rich,
Mr. Beal?
Whoop.
can we go back to that 30, 60 day thing? Is that reasonable, Tim? I mean, practically, is that reasonable, 30 days?
No, but for me, I mean, I already have it.
You're almost in a vice from the second you leave the town hall.
In a normal situation, it's not practical, but, I mean, I already have it kind of tentatively scheduled to do it, so I can,
I said 60, he said 30.
I can
No,
make it happen.
I know, but we have to legislate for
Everybody.
everybody
60
that
days on
has
it.
the Kubiak speed
Right.
train.
Amend your motion for 60 days for demo.
I'll amend my motion, not my emotion, my motion, to make it 60 days, with the stipulation of a 60-day requirement for the demo to be complete.
And just to be clear on that, Heather, is that, and this might go to what Dave was saying, is that 60 days or 30 days, in this instance, 60 from issuance or 60 from today?
60 from issuance.
Because that, I think that alleviates some of your concerns in that it's not, the clock's not starting right this
They
second.
leave here and they're.
It would
No,
start
it's-
once applied for and approved.
It starts once they get the permit.
Yeah.
I will second that amended motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Can I get a roll call vote?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Keel?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Next item, item 6, 12611 Klein Avenue, Kubiak Properties.
Well, we got the fence down. I got the, okay from NIPSCO to put the temporary power back, all the way back at the building where the end of the power line is. They are in the midst of reconstructing the power there down Klein. They're getting close to that pole line, but they're gonna redo that three-phase electric that goes back to that building and then be able to hook up that power. So we're hoping to have that done here for the holiday season, to have at least got the lights on and back there, so. The roof is still secured, it's been kind of closed up now, so, hopefully that, you know, the lighting, I mean, it looks nicer with the fence, I don't know, it's pretty swampy in there for people to drive through the ditch and get back there, so I don't think it's gonna make a big difference on people, you know, trying to drive back there, because if a car, if somebody tries driving up through that ditch in their truck, they're not gonna make it very far. But, so, that's where we are. So, and we're still working on, I'm getting some pricing to get the new, you know, get the gates replaced now at the front, so that'll at least look, you know, make the rest of it look better, so.
That was the last part of that plan that we had requested, right? The lights,
Yes.
the fencing down, and then the gate up.
Yes, and Tim has been in contact with me as far as progress with NIPSCO and stuff.
It's going, but the gates, the fence is gone, that's about a mile of freaking fence along there, there's a lot of stuff.
It looks so much better already
It
without
does.
that there.
It is down, so we're still, like I said, we're working on, I'm hoping to have the lighting on sooner than later, so they did finally get out there and look at it and said that they can get that power all the way there, or else we would have to put a temporary power pole all the way up at Klein and then try to get power back there, so.
And that was with lights and security, right, that you were gonna do?
Yeah. So that is still in progress, so. But like I said, 60 days goes by pretty darn fast when you're doing 50 other things, but it's, we're making progress.
Any progress on a long-term plan for that? I know what, he mentioned a long-term plan, but
Not really. I mean, there's a lot of ideas and stuff, but there's not like any solid, you know, there's, you know, just planning. We did have DBG do some concept plans and did some looking at the building and had a couple people look at the structure of the building, so there's, you know, some stuff done, but other than, you know, feasible actual game plan, you know what I mean? We did a couple renderings of the building for making some condos or something to see if that would fly for that one building, and then maybe some lots around it. But it's like, you know, I'm changing ideas all the time, I guess, but some stuff, but nothing definite, so. Plan in motion. But it's been pretty good with them, with it keeping that screen on the window. The kids still come once in a while and try to bash through it, and eventually they end up sawzalling or something, but I've been keep checking it and replacing it and keeping them, you know, I mean, it takes them a month to make it in there, and then you can go there for 6 months in a row and nothing, you know, nobody's there. I got a big metal plate from Rich at the scrapyard and put over it on the roof that they can't make it through now, so, it's pretty well. I mean, other than getting a ladder or a rope or something and climbing up there, the ground level stuff is closed off, and that one window is where they try to get in the building, so.
what are our thoughts on this one?
So.
Well, I mean, I know it needs to still stay on there
Oh, yeah.
for, as long as it still stays secure, and we get updated as far as what's going on with the security, because until that stuff is done, you know, we would still need to see them.
So what are you thinking for a deferral on this?
I would say 60.
Yeah,
You're
because
good with that?
30 wouldn't work out. To me, it's with the electric and 30 is
Yeah,
short.
I think in the 60 days, I should have the election in there, so. And we can't, I mean, once we have the election, then that's, you know, then you're easy, then you have to, if they can hook it up. But, I mean, again, they've been working their way down Klein, and she said it was gonna be best if they redid that little area right there with the new poles, then, you know, as they did it, but I guess if they have to try to hook it up in the interim, I think, then I'm sure they can do something, so.
Okay. I'll make a motion for a 60-day deferral on this.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion for a 60-day deferral. It needs to show up at the November meeting, made by Ms. Dessauer, seconded by Mr. Beal. Roll call vote?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Keel?
Yes, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 7, 7303 West 128th Place, Fouch.
29.
Oh, yeah, so we need to correct that. Thank you.
That's okay. If I make some mistake once in a while.
Name and address for the record, please.
Roger Fouch, 7303 129th Avenue.
And it's Avenue, not Place.
Right.
So it's 129th Avenue. Okay.
All right, I did get a phone call from Tony Gatto this afternoon as far as a little bit of update that he did drive by, said that you did have the backfill and everything, and stuff, and said that you needed to come in to take care of the rest of the stuff as far as with your scope of work for the other items that were on the report.
The backing on the rafters in the basement, I put it wider so that more weight carried through them, which I've done most of those. Just ready to start putting the siding up outside, peel the old off and put tie back on, and then start the new siding.
Now, you'd still have to come in to get the permit for that, because I
Yeah.
believe your other permit was just for the foundation.
Right.
Yeah, so this would be another case of, as long as the scope of work and they come into the building department, with that they could get it issued, if it happens prior to the next meeting.
Right.
Yeah. So when do you think you would be able to, is Tony on vacation, or is he just out today? That if, whenever Mr. Fouch were to come in to,
No, I think he had something going on tonight or something.
okay, I just didn't wanna say come in, next week or end of the week or something, and him be gone for a week or two, so,
Yeah, he'll be here.
okay.
Sure.
Come in and get with him, see what he needs done.
Yep.
Okay.
A remodel, basically, to correct those issues.
So that would, that permit then would not be a demo permit, of course. It would just be a remodel permit, and that permit would be for a year. So,
Fine.
is that the question you were asking?
I was just asking if you guys wanted to insert any conditions.
No, and that's what, like Tim was mentioning, that, talking with Tony as well during these building department meetings, that this differences of timing on, certain remodels and stuff like that start to tend to get a little confusing, for which ones are deferred for this long, which ones are for this, and when typically the remodel permit was good for a year. And so, yeah, we understand that in certain cases, someone wasn't doing something, and that's why other stipulations on time were 60 days, 90 days, stuff like that. That way, this way, Mr. Fouch would come in, Tony looks at everything and it's good, his remodel permit would be good for a year. Now, Ryan, with that said, would that then, at what point would that come off of the unsafe list?
When the property is no longer unsafe. So, for Kubiak properties, it would come off the list when it's demoed. This one wouldn't come off the list until those remodel items that are outlined in the unsafe premises report are all taken care of.
So that could be a year. What about, so then Mr. Fouch then would not have to attend, let's say everything didn't get done within a year, he would have to, a year from now, he would be in attendance. If it were done in 6 months from now, he would notify, we'd have update, and could make the decision to remove it from the list then.
Yeah, I mean, then if he gets going on it and you guys are pleased with the progress, you can bump it down to an update or
Yeah.
something like that, or you defer it out for a longer period of time to just keep your fingers on the pulse, but.
Tony's done that before with his
Yeah, those ones
inspection.
that have a permit now can be made an update item, and Tony should be able to tell you the
Yeah.
progress, that he's had a rough inspection, or that
Yeah.
he was comfortable with getting it off, at what point it would be good to say you can take it off the update items, it's, no longer unsafe.
And then if we do, so if this goes well, and by the next meeting, we're able to move it to an update item, because by then it's under.
Well, sorry to interrupt, Heather, but it would then go under our new section with the under permit / demo orders.
So if it goes there, and then we check in with Tony, and Tony's like, I haven't heard from him in 4 months, I have no clue what's happening there, could we bump that back to active and ask him to
Yeah, you
return?
can ask him to appear and all that stuff. The only sort of
I can go
rhetorical
by
question.
every month if you want and tell you what I've got done.
We don't wanna waste your time, I mean, the point is
It's
that.
expensive, I know.
Yeah, we would rather you be busy at the house doing things than sitting here at the meeting, so we're just trying to figure out a way where you don't have to keep appearing, but.
I don't think it's unreasonable for Tony to be able to have that checkup for you.
Right.
If he knows it's on that list, he can go by and check up, so he doesn't have to say he hasn't been there in 4 months.
Well, I'm just saying, if he hasn't called for an inspection, then.
Right, but he can still know that the meeting's coming up and go by and give you an update, like, hey, nobody's been there since last 2 months, or, you know, he should be able to give you something, knowing that it's gonna be on that list that you're gonna ask him, how's it looking, you know,
Yeah.
that he knows when the meetings are, he should be able to drive by there and at least, you know, give you something.
So for now, you have a 30-day deferral, so you would have to be here in 30 days. If you get your ducks in a row beforehand and you're able to go in and get the permit, then you would not need to appear at the next meeting.
Okay. The permit, the remodel permit for siding, which will be a year then?
It would be a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got 30 days to go up and get that, and I have to talk to Tony.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. I almost confused myself.
No, it's easy to do around here, I understand.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions, sir?
That's all I needed.
Okay,
All right.
you're good to go then.
We need to vote, so
That's what you made- oh, we didn't.
no, you made that was a motion for the 30-day deferral. Within that 30 days, if Mr. Fouch does come in and, get his remodel permit, then permit would be good for a year, and he would not need to attend unless Tony noticed any not work being done, as far as update.
I'll second.
All right, we have a
You
motion.
actually made the motion.
He made the
Oh,
motion.
I'm sorry,
We got
I'm
it.
sorry, I got it backwards that time.
Can't second your own, Jeff.
Yeah, I wrote it down wrong, I got the other one wrong, sorry. Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Wait, hold on, I don't think
Second
I ever seconded, so.
That's right. Gosh.
Okay, so I'll
Sorry.
second that original motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Beal, a second by Ms. Dessauer. Can I get a roll call vote?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes,
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Mr. Fouch.
thank you.
I'm so used to you making
Yeah,
the
that's right.
motion
Yeah.
and then just seconding it, it's like instilled in my head.
Give her a break.
Yeah. Item number 8, 14616 Dewey Street, Frick.
I could track that fire down,
For,
please.
oh, yes. Hello, name and address for the record, please?
Tom Frick, 8008 West 146 Avenue, Cedar Lake.
All right, any update for us after the last time we spoke?
I got drawings, I got a proposal. I also I closed up the bottom of the house, work in the house. So I'm hoping that makes a difference too. It's all enclosed. I gave money to DVG for, surveying, so that they can survey the property with, you know, everything, so I can get permits, because I gotta have the engineering part of it for getting permits.
Yeah.
So, I got photos if you wanna see what I did to the house.
Okay, yeah, 'cause I didn't get an update from Tony yet, so you're good with seeing photos?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
I fixed the leaning block.
Okay.
You know, it's a different angle.
Mm-hmm.
There's, that same corner.
Okay.
There's a different corner.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Yeah, 'cause it was opened all before, and when I spoke with Mr. Frisch before, I said as far as, until he can get with,
I saw that, yeah.
until he could get with the person doing the, surveying everything with, you know, site plan and stuff, that we at least wanna see it, you know, as a board secure. you know, so no animals were going in there. And as we learned just recently about the 6-month thing, that wasn't true with the,
Yeah.
if Mr. Frick were to tear it down. I definitely appreciate the sealing off the bottom there and that, because like I said, that was, anything that animals, rodents gonna get into, that's one of the, you know, things that we really look at. Do they have any kind of a time frame from now, you know, after DVG doing a site plan and stuff for you, is?
I'm on their schedule, I have no idea. You know, I gave them a down payment a couple months ago, so they're busy.
Yeah.
So,
I don't really know if we need to discuss the easement, because that does not fall within anything with the building, because if the easement on the north, if it were to happen or not happen, doesn't affect where the house is on the property, because
Why are
whatever.
we talking about that then?
Huh?
That's been a conversation for
Oh,
months.
it has been, because when I spoke with Mr. Frick before, there was a question about easements as far as, what's gonna happen with where the house sits on the property. However, if the easement were to happen, there's still a side yard setback, and that easement is still, at or less than what a side yard setback would be, so he couldn't just build a house where the, you know, if the easement, drainage easement were to happen, if that makes sense.
He doesn't have to give that easement either.
Right, he does not have to do the easement. However, whether the easement was or wasn't, whatever the side yard setback, front yard setback, rear yard setback is, he'd have to come in for a variance if he wanted to change it, you know, and be closer, which I'm pretty sure that house plan wouldn't be within 8 feet of the side yard. Does that make sense?
I just don't know why we've been talking about it then. We spent a lot of breath.
Yes, we did.
So if it's not an issue, why were we talking about it?
Well, because that's, when that time was going on. What's that?
It's, their easement's a request.
Yes. But not through Mr. Frick, though.
We can move on.
Yes, we can. So the easement is, doesn't matter if it did or didn't. Does that make sense? Yeah. So what's, the board's thoughts, suggestions? I mean, I like the fact that he's got it sealed off and everything. I mean, yes, it still needs to be on there, until he has that plan as far as what's going on. I would think we'd still, want some form of a deferral. I don't know if that's still, that 30 days is gonna be enough timing for Mr. Frick to have DVG come out, do the site plan and get everything put together. Do we stick with the 60, or what's everybody's thoughts?
Jeff, what do you think?
60 sounds good, I mean, to get the site done, that'll take at least a month, I'm sure. So 60 days would be a good deferral, I think. No, I don't think you want any longer.
And then I would say the same stipulation would be if Mr. Frick were to get everything in order with the plans, and building department is good with whatever the new plans are with site plan and everything, that, well, I still think there's too much going on, that we'd have to still do 60-day from then, possibly. How long would the demo permit be? Is there too many working parts here to do all in one motion?
I don't know that, you're saying if he gets
Let-
together in the next 60 days?
Yes, that how do we word that in a motion to be,
The same way we did with the other one, that he would have 60 days from the date of issuance.
for the demo
Yeah.
permit, and then the year for the rebuild, I guess they'd call it?
Same exact thing.
Same thing, okay.
rebuild, what's that?
If you were to tear the house down and build the house that you were planning on, you know, that permit would be good for the year then.
the permit for the
Yes,
construction.
yes.
But once you picked up your permit, you would have 60 days to get that other house down. I would start that clock,
Yes.
which obviously you would be ready to do,
Right.
so.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get all my ducks in a row to get permit.
Yeah, and if no permit is pulled within, then we'd still need to see you back here within the 60 days. If you did get that permit pulled, and then it would be more of an update moving forward. Clear?
I'll make a motion for Ready.
Okay.
Make a motion for a 60-day deferral with the understanding that should he get what he needs done in the meantime to go to the building department, we would grant a demo and building permit with the understanding that he would have 60 days from the date of issuance to demo the home.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Ms. Dessauer, a second by Mr. Beal. Can I get a roll call vote?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Good, thank you. All right, moving on to item number 9, 13947 Hobart Street, Weiss. I believe Mr. Griswold is online.
Yes.
Good, you.
Hello, Mr. Griswold. Let's be muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good, this is my first time on Zoom, so it's been real tricky.
If I could get name and address for the record, please.
Sorry, Kenneth Griswold, 2303 West 49th Avenue.
Do you have an update for us?
I do. I had Soil Solutions come out, and they gave me what their preliminary determination was as far as wetland. But now it has to go through the Army Corps of Engineers, and they have to sign off on it before anything can be done as far as building. So he said they typically take 6 weeks to 6 months to sign off and do their determination. So he gave me his September 9th. So 6 weeks out is October 15. So I don't know if that's when they would start their, would come out by that time, or have a determination for me as far as that time. You know, as far as, I'm really, I have no idea what they do or how long it takes. That's just what I was told by John at Soil Solutions.
I know dealing with the Army Corps will take a while, so I'm not sure if we still, we're gonna need to still, receive updates as far as any progress going on. I don't know what type of deferral, if we still stick with a 60, if we extend it longer, what's anybody's thoughts?
I have been in touch, I've emailed Tony, the secretary, Cheryl, and I have been emailing back and forth as well. So, yeah, I've been updating whenever I have something to update with.
So, did I catch that right? So the soil person isn't gonna be there or have an answer for him until October 15th?
From what I understand, Army Corps of Engineers is the one that's gonna have to sign off on anything, and that could take up to 6 months.
What was the October 15th I heard?
I think that was the low end of the time frame. The
Got
6
it.
weeks would be October 15th or 6 months.
So with October 16th being our meeting, I don't know what's gonna happen in the next 30 days,
I don't either.
or less than 30 days. I thought 60-day deferral, and this would be,
Adequate.
yeah.
You good with that?
Yeah, it's probably gonna be a lot longer,
Yeah, I agree, you know,
but maybe just get, 60 days, you can come in and let us know what's going on.
better understanding of the progress.
if there should be an update before the 60 days, will you send that to us though?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, as soon as I know something about something, I mean, I didn't buy the house to do nothing with it, you know?
Yeah. All right, I believe Ms. Dessauer is ready to make a motion.
I'll make a motion for a 60-day deferral.
Second?
All right, we have a motion for a 60-day deferral by Ms. Dessauer, second by Mr. Beal. Can I get a roll call vote?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
Okay, so when is the next meeting then?
The 60 days would be November, I don't have my calendar.
Third Wednesday.
20th.
The 20th of November.
20. At 5:30.
Yes.
Okay, sounds good, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on to under permit demo orders. I did receive some email from Mr. Cagnina, just so everybody's aware. He did lower the price on the house. I do want to have us instruct Tony to give us updated reports on those, just because of the, how long ago they've been done,
And photos.
and photos.
And just so you know, Rich, I talked to Tony about this last week or so. I was finalizing the affirmation orders for the 2 Cagnina properties, which were all going to be in one. And as I was going back through all of the file documents, I mean, just the meandering path that these 2 took, I think, is well documented. However, 7105 does not have any report, which is kind of what caused me to slam on the brakes on finalizing the affirmation order. I talked to Cheryl and to Tony to confirm there's nothing in the town's records to reflect that there was an unsafe premises report ever done. Now, of course, the condition of 7105 has been well documented throughout the various meetings, but we need a report for 7105 done ASAP, so that can be taken care of and we can complete the preparation and the signing of the affirmation order that you had approved the last meeting.
So should that get done before our next meeting, and he can provide that to you?
Before next week.
But, I mean, once he gets that done and provides it to you, you can go ahead with your part of it. You don't have to wait for us.
It's all good to go. I just need to finalize a few details in the order, and then I realized we didn't have any unsafe premises reports, so I never sent it to Tony for signature because we're waiting on that key detail.
Okay.
You have one for 7109, but
Correct.
it's not 05?
Yeah, we have 09.
They got
I don't
one.
know in the morning.
You remember the debacle with that?
And some of that might have,
There was photos for both.
05 might have been the one that predated COVID, and who knows what happened. It was just talked about, a report was never made. I have no idea. But I was surprised to learn that there was no report. After hearing that from Tony and Cheryl, I combed through building packets. Well, I guess before confirming with Tony, I combed through unsafe commission packets from Ashley from 2 and 3 years ago, trying to see if it was included, and there is nothing.
So for clarity, we don't need to have that in the motion, that would just be direction to Tony?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I already talked to Tony about it. He was aware it was probably coming, and he would receive that upon his return.
Okay,
Because Tim's going to tell him tomorrow.
all right. And then Ms. Herrera, she still has the property listed. I did not receive an update from her this week. I don't know if you did, Cheryl, because I figured you didn't, because you would have sent it to me right away.
Right, no, I did not.
Update on our end, Tony signed off on the order. He posted the property, I want to say yesterday or Monday. I hand-delivered it to the recorder today. It is now recorded.
Yeah, I do know that Ms. Herrera was going to be leaving for out of town for a little while, so I don't know if that time was now. Anyway,
It's in the records now, so if someone runs a title search, it'll come up.
good, very good. Moving, update items, Diamond Peak, I do see that they had that listed for lease or build to suit. Hey, Tim, did you have any ideas on what was going on with Cox and stuff like that or no? I know Tony gave me a report not too long ago, that they were aware of the railings and stuff like that. I just don't know if they had done anything yet. Tony didn't mention it today.
I don't know anything about that one, no.
Okay. Lomberger, they had a partial payment. They I believe the next payment we should be receiving sometime mid-October, was it Cheryl I mentioned to you?
Mm-hmm, correct.
They asked if it would be okay for a 60-day, delay for the rest of the payment, and I said that would be fine. 6599 Fernwood, Mogan, that house is down. Tim, did you have it?
Mine too.
Well, I know, this is just an update. I know he's gonna be here for the next item.
Okay.
I just wanna know about that one right now, as far as, how we're looking with the fill and stuff on that.
That one is good, and I just got the bill for the termination of the well, so I'll be able to finish the bill for that now. That was what I was waiting for.
Okay. Item number 5, 14021 Windsor Street, Mogan.
And Zach James, 14611 Clark Street, Crown Point. Thank you. So we had the estate opened, Craig was appointed the personal representative, just waiting for the title work to come back now, and then so we'll close on the transaction, I'll record the deed next week. And then from there, the plan is to get a demo permit, kind of gut the inside, and then figure out, really then I can do the scope of actually, you know, am I gonna need a new roof and a couple other things. But so that's kind of where we're at with it. It should be my ownership by the end of next week.
Okay, and then, I did share all of the email threads with the rest of the board members. Ryan did notify me that, the demo order that we thought was to expire in October actually does not expire until January of 25.
Yeah, I know that.
So which gave, Mr. James a little bit more time.
No, he doesn't need it.
Yeah, which he doesn't.
That's
So,
crazy.
Yeah, so,
So about this one though, so you're saying if you close next week, within the next week, you're hoping to get the demo permit when?
I mean, I live down the road, I'm gonna come down and pull it basically immediately after.
Because unless we make some sort of a motion, you would not be able to pull that.
Oh,
So,
yeah, it'll be without a doubt within 30 days,
before 30 days.
yes.
So we need to talk about that.
so,
And how do we even do that, because he doesn't even own it now?
Well, it'd just be directed towards the property.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be specific to him, but I guess the contingency could be, if you want to attach it, that
how about,
this is the property and applies for a permit, then, you know, he'd be
Okay.
issued a demo permit for however long.
we wouldn't, well, so then would we have to amend the agenda then to move it to an active item then?
I would say moving forward, probably.
Because if we were gonna make the motion for what I believe Heather's gonna make, once it comes in, that we should probably just do that now.
Can we make it active first?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to move, 14021 Windsor Street from update to active on the agenda.
No second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Stetshauer?
Yes.
Mr. Keel?
Yes, motion carries 3-0.
So your intention with the property is what?
Gut and remodel,
So keep the foundation, keep
keep the walls, keep the exterior walls, but I mean, it looks like it's gonna need a new roof, need new siding, need new windows, basically the studs are the only thing that's gonna stay.
so your demo will consist of the complete inside.
The inside, and then there's a deck, porch type thing on the back that'll come off.
What's your time frame?
I want to be able to get the electric back on before the winter. But the demo,
Where have you been all this time? This would have been great like a year ago.
I know.
well, I live right next to it, so I drive past it every day, so it's not gonna kind of fall on the back burner.
Okay, so you're hoping, so you need a demo permit, a demo remodel.
Yes.
Yeah.
With a caveat, so I don't know the extent of the roof is the question item. I'm not sure if it's gonna need a new roof until I get in and tear out the ceilings.
Tim, do you have any thoughts on this one? Have you been by there?
Yeah, I wish he would've got the other one around the corner.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, that's a mobile home.
Yeah.
That house.
Modular.
Yeah, the floor is trashed because it's particle board. I mean, it's gonna be a rough, it's a rough repair. Yeah. I mean, it's not a.
Yeah, I plan on all new, like I said, whole new subfloor is gonna have to go in
Right, and
probably.
it may need more than a subfloor. I don't know what kind of condition underneath of that is, but it's basically on a trailer frame, a 2x6 floor joist, 2 foot on center, so, I mean, that deteriorates quickly. So I know you can't walk around in there because you can fall through the floor into the crawl space, so it's rough.
Well, I was in there today.
Yeah, and you step on, it's
Yeah,
like
there's
being like
spots.
being in an attic.
There's spots.
Yeah.
So, what's your opinion then on us, obviously, issuing a demo permit, but what about the,
I mean, it can be remodeled. Are you doing this for yourself? It's gonna be your house, or
It'll be a
you're
rental
renting it, or
property.
you're gonna rent it? So, you have a contractor, or,
I'll have one. I will get one.
I mean, that's gonna be, I mean, if this isn't your house, then, you know, you can't just,
Yeah.
you know, you need a licensed contractor to do that work, so. Yeah, I mean, anything can be done. It can be fixed. It's just, I mean,
we issue just a standard demo and then remodel permit
Yes,
with no time constraints on it?
correct.
and you're gonna have to have a contractor lined
Well,
up to get the
would
permits
it still
for
need
the
to be
rebuild,
once
you know?
it's
I mean, if
done?
you're gonna just clean it up and get rid of all the garbage
Like
yourself,
demo
I mean,
complete.
that's cool. but,
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I would say no
Get
condition.
started.
Yeah. That definitely actually no constraint.
But like come back in 30 days,
Yes.
30 or 60.
Yeah, because we don't like to see some type of an update as far as what the extent is.
We're just trying to figure out a way to not make it wait.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
This is probably one of them that we're gonna wanna set up a site visit before issuing a permit, so we can, you know, we like to come out there and see you give us a scope of work of what you're gonna do. We come out there and do a site visit and make sure that your scope of work encompasses what we think needs to be done there, and make sure that we're all on the same page before continuing on, because some of these we've gone to you know, later down the road and said, what are we doing here?
So can we issue if he closes and wants to come in for the demo, issue the demo, but hold off on the remodel until you guys get out there and do, because he'll need a scope of work anyway.
Yeah, once he turns in for his permit for the remodel with his scope of work, then we'll set up the site visit. We come out there, make sure we're all on the same page before he gets started, so that way there's no surprises for either of us. And then it's been working out well with all of these. We've been doing that instead of waiting until later and then
Yeah.
saying, why didn't you do this? How come this isn't done? And it seems to be worth the effort to, you know, and then everybody, we all start out at the same page, and it seems to be working much better, so. That's what we've been doing, so as long as,
So they won't go hand in hand, he'll have the demo first, and then he'll have to
yeah,
come
you can
in.
start getting it cleaned up and demoed, and then we normally, I mean, what we've been doing is we just apply that $100 demo permit monies to the remodel, because normally you don't have to pay,
Approve the issue for the demo.
and then we just
Correct.
move on, so.
Look at.
Yep.
So as long as he gets the contractors and the scope of work, then we would then go out and, we wait until they apply and have their ducks in a row before we set up the site inspection, so we at least, you know, they're gonna show us what they're gonna do and have a game plan, so that way, you know, we're all, like I said, we're on the same page. We
Okay.
make sure that you know what we're gonna expect to see when it's done, and then,
You're aware that they have to be a licensed contractor through the town?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
Okay.
Should you purchase the property and everything works out, I'd like to advise the building department to go ahead and issue a demo permit. And do a 30-day deferral. So should you get that done, you can go ahead and get the demo permit, get moving on that, but then we would want to see you back in 30 days.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Ms. Dessauer, second by Mr. Beal. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for moving so fast on that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on to item 6 and 7, Ward and Land Bank Builders. They were issued the invoices for the demo back in July. It was, I believe, 30 days. We have not it's been well past that, we have not heard anything back from either. So this would be something, Ryan, that now you would just continue to proceed with,
Yeah, I need the invoice that's sent to me, and then we can go ahead and file in court.
Yes, and I did bring them today for you, so.
Oh.
Okay, 127th Lane, Tim, did you happen to get over and speak to,
No, I'll do that though, that should be done now before, that's the next thing on the list, so.
yeah,
Can you send us an email update with that? I know you hate technology.
Possibly.
Leave a voicemail,
Okay, I can
something.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a call.
yeah, which I did speak to Tim about this, just a couple days ago about this, and he was gonna speak to the adjacent property owner that allowed the access to get to it, so he just keep us posted on that.
Okay.
The Edison one, that's still on the kind of back burner right now for logistics, getting to it, 127th next. Dewey Street is deferral, we'll see him next month. Do we have any public comment for
I do have a comment as well.
oh, sorry,
Me first?
yes.
Okay, so I know we had talked before about, Tony, at our special meeting, we talked with Tony about getting that old list together.
Yes.
So we could start reviewing that,
In doing the worst first type grading system?
rating that, and then, yes. But where is that list?
I know Tony did have a copy for me. I have to go through my stack of papers to look, but, I will reach out to Tony to see if he has it readily available. Cause basically what I was given was a handwritten, with spaces, about a page and a half. So if he can maybe,
He's got it.
maybe if he can put it like in a, type it out or something like that and share it with the rest of the, board so we can start, getting a game plan moving.
Yeah, I don't wanna wait too much longer, I feel like well, first of all, look how early it is. But we are gonna start getting to a point with these where we are gonna have, I wanna start adding things at
Yes,
this point.
yes.
So, can we maybe get that before the next meeting?
Should be able to.
I'll have him email it to you.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you. That was all for me.
Do you have anything before public comment? Nope. Sorry about that. All right, do we have any public comment for unsafe building? Name and address for the record, please.
8711 West 132nd Place. I just want it on the record, I don't even know if this is the place to put it, but the address on 132nd, 8705, I am concerned about the parking. I'm also concerned about the drainage. That's the Marquette Dodge drainage project that's not been done for 12 years. And also, there's a well down at the end where they park. So if it's going to be built up, I just want to make sure the drainage is also included in the plan with the permit. I understand, we've looked at this for 12 years. We're happy that something's going to happen. But I don't want it to become a civil matter for the neighbors.
Right.
Like, we're the ones that have to call the cops because there's nowhere for them to park, where the water's going on our property. I would hope that this could isolate and be that perfect project if it's all possible.
Yeah.
So I just wanted it on the record. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment for unsafe building? 3 times, public comment for unsafe building. Anybody online?
No.
Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned at 6:50. Next meeting is October 16th.
It's gonna be fine, it's just.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the Town of Cedar Lake Plan Commission September 18th public hearing to order. Please rise for pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Becker?
Here.
Mr. Parker?
Here.
Mr. Carnahan?
Here.
Mr. Hunley?
Present.
Ms. Dessauer? Present. Mr. Wilkening?
Here.
Mr. Capora?
Present.
Mr. Oliphant?
Here.
Mr. Austin?
Present.
Mr. Bungie is absent. Mr. Kubiac?
Here.
Ms. Heidi is present.
Okay, first order is minutes from July 3rd, 2024. They have been distributed. If there are no corrections to them, I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Parker to approve,
I'll second it.
second by Mr. Volkeny. Roll call, please.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Carnahan?
Yes.
Mr. Hunley?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer? Yes. Mr. Wilkening?
Yes.
Mr. Capora?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Old business, number one, Montessori Woods, 1-year extension of preliminary plat.
Mr. President,
I was gonna do it after,
okay.
okay? Because then Jack will be up.
It needs to be in the old business portion because it is old.
Right, but after him, then I was gonna do it, okay? Now I lost my place.
Just number one.
Number one,
Yep.
oh, okay. Montessori Woods, 1-year extension of preliminary plat, owner, New Century Development, 2036 West 81st Avenue, Suite B, Maryville, Indiana, 46410. Petitioner, Altoff Homes, 8051 Wicker Avenue, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Vicinity of 9727 West 129th Avenue, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Petitioner is requesting a 1-year extension of preliminary plat for the Montessori Woods North. Hi.
Good evening, Kevin Pasco, Old Top Homes, 8051 Wicker Avenue, St. John, Indiana. Here tonight to seek a 1-year extension of our primary plat for Montessori Woods Phase 3. This phase is for 87 units and would complete the remaining portion of the Montessori Woods subdivision on the far north side of the project. As I mentioned 2 weeks ago, this was initially approved at the September 20th, 2023 meeting. We plan on starting the project this year, but it was put on hold due to the development moratorium. So we intend on completing that project once the moratorium is lifted, but until that time, we're just going to be requesting an extension for the plat just to keep it current. So take any questions or comments that you may have.
Any comments, anybody?
Pretty cut and dry.
Yeah. None, then I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Ms. Dessauer,
I'll second it.
second by Mr. Wilkening. Roll call, please.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Carnahan?
Yes.
Mr. Hunley?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkening?
Yes.
Mr. Capora?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. I need to amend tonight's agenda, under old business for, to add Lakeside, subdivision. I need a motion on that, right?
Yes.
So
I need
moved.
a motion to amend it.
I'll second it.
Who made the motion?
Me. Great.
Good. Motion by Mr. Parker, second by Mr. Wilkening. Roll call, please.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Carnahan?
Yes.
Mr. Hunley?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkening?
Yes.
Mr. Parker? Mr. Capera? Sorry.
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Hello, Jack.
Well, I'm here related to that item that you addressed, Lakeside South, primary plat. We're want to continue this, really kind of up to you guys for the length of time. If you'd like to see us back next month, we'll be more than happy to do that. There's still some ongoing water concerns, and so that's really the major hang-up at this point in time. So if you would like to see us in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever you feel would be best.
Can I stop you for 1 second?
What was that?
Can I stop you for 1 second? I need to ask a question before I forget, and I'm bad about forgetting. Rich, do we need to see him after this meeting?
I don't
believe that we need to really see Mr. Holmes. I thought it was just gonna be internal. That's what, Nick, mentioned to me later.
I just wanted to make sure, because if he needed to stay, I wanted to make sure he did. Okay, thank you.
So he's looking for a deferral, I mean,
Yeah, so a 30-day deferral for sure,
Continue
but
public hearing.
if,
Public hearing
yeah,
still
because,
open.
okay, yeah. So it's really up to you guys what you would like to.
Is 30 days enough?
No,
Okay.
60.
maybe. 90 is probably preferable.
What would you rather have?
Doesn't matter to us.
I'll make a motion that we give him a 90-day deferral.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Wolkeny to defer, Lakeside subdivision for 90 days, seconded by Ms. Deschauer. Roll call, please.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Carnahan?
Yes.
Mr. Hunley?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkie?
Yes.
Mr. Capora?
Yes, motion carries 7-0.
We'll be here for your December meeting unless we have more to report prior to that.
Okay. Before you run off, Mr. Austin, my motion was to let them defer, but do I need to amend that to say a continued public hearing?
I just made that note on my, note, it needs to be a continued public hearing.
Okay. I'll amend my motion to include extension of the public hearing.
I'll second that.
Do I need roll call again?
Please.
Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Carnahan?
Yes.
Mr. Hunley? Mr. Hunley?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkie?
Yes.
Mr. Capora?
Yes, motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Okay, number 2. Unsafe, final plat, make it it legal lot of record. Primary previously approved, site plan approval. Owner petitioner, Unsafe of Cedar Lake LLC, 3100 Dempster Street, Suite 300, Skokie, Illinois, 60077. Vicinity of 13649 Wicker Avenue, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Petitioner is requesting the site plan approval with the developmental commitment contract and final plat approval. Yeah, right at the nick of time.
I was actually just getting ready to ask to be pushed to the end of the agenda, but we'll take our spot
Okay.
right now. All right.
Okay.
Last hire couldn't stop me, guys.
Who's going to take this one?
I'll go ahead.
The owner?
Yeah, go ahead. Sure. Jim Stagg, I am one of the owners and, Chief Development Officer at Elmdale Partners, 5301 Dempster, Suite 300, Skokie, Illinois, 60077.
Thank you.
Honorable Chair, members, thank you again for, seeing us tonight. Well, if you remember where we left off, we were focused on memorializing what I think was a meeting of the minds on most terms, in the form of a, development commitment. Mr. Westland, Mr. Austin have been trading red lines, and we received one, I don't know, a week or so ago and turned it around. We received another red line today. Mr. Westland was Johnny on the spot, turned it around again. Again, on principle here, I think you guys wanted to decide on what was an appropriate fine for going past 10 years into the future, not 15. And then we had the IDEM issue, and I think the way we handled it was basically, I mean, we're making this up as we go along, all of us, right? So the way we handled it was, you know, if we don't get an IDEM NOI, and this is up for discussion, we just say that the document we're signing is null and void so that the city doesn't feel like it committed to something.
The town.
The town, pardon me, thank you, Mr. Carnahan. That the town has not committed itself to something that it can't follow through on. And luckily, we have an alternative, you know, we go to the back of the site and develop it, but, you know, I'm confident we got a great team here. I'm confident that because we don't draw any water and otherwise it's unrealistic that no developments are gonna happen here, that we'll get through it. You know, we'll go through the process and we'll get through it. So
I guess the question I have for, I guess, both y'all and Mr. Austin is what direction in terms of things that maybe Mr. Austin isn't comfortable negotiating on your behalf? You know, what questions does he have that need to be answered, like what size fine do you guys want, or whatever other examples. But I'm hoping we can get an up and down vote. You know, we really need to break ground. We need to get moving. I think I told y'all last time, you know, we spec'd plans, because I believe we get to where we need to go. So, you know, our plans are about there. Certainly civil engineering is well on its way. Don and Jack can comment on that. I don't have much left to say, guys. I mean, we've been at it a while, so that's, I think, where we're at, and I'd love if you'd give some direction to the one or two items that might be up for discussion, and let's get this baby wrapped.
Okay, I'm gonna start with, David, do you wanna go over your red lines, or is there anything we need to?
Not really, my red lines were for you, and when I received a draft from Attorney Westland, I did like he did, I turned it around so that you could see what had been done, and you could make your own assessment. I've talked to a couple of you, and I know that you're doing your review and you're assessing independently also. So, I guess
the biggest thing is we gotta fill in what the fine is.
I don't know if that's the biggest thing.
Pardon?
I don't know if that's the biggest thing. I know it's a thing.
It's one of the things.
It's one of the things.
Where, we have the original one that you gave us 2 weeks ago. Where are we in relation to this one?
Oh, we're two away from that. I received one at 2 o'clock this afternoon from Attorney West.
So it looks better than this? Are we getting closer or farther?
Well, we had some intervening red ink, and he uses his word processor and laptop, and I get blue underline from David. But yeah, different approaches. You don't have that, because I did the last one to you that I received today. But you have Friday, I think last Friday.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
Is there anything you didn't agree with, or did you just basically take Mr. Austin's comments and incorporate them into the document?
Yeah, so that's what my name's Dave Westland. I'm an attorney in the law office for that 2929 Carlson Drive in Hammond. So a couple weeks ago, Mr. Austin sent me a red line. We incorporated it was my intent at least, and if it didn't, it was a mistake, but we incorporated every single one of his changes, sent it back. I, quite frankly, thought that was it. And then yesterday received additional red lines or, markup, and went through, and this afternoon, because I got it at about 5 o'clock last night, I went through this afternoon and talked to a client, and he said, yeah, make the changes that are being requested. So we tried to make every single request that was being made. So the issue of the amount of the fine, I guess if that's still outstanding, that's certainly something we can talk about, but I've now revised this document. This document goes back to July 2nd, was when it was first drafted, and I've now revised it in the last 2 weeks twice. I'm happy to discuss what other revisions you want to discuss, but including the fine amount, and I think Jim would be willing to entertain that discussion, but we kind of got to have an end to this too, right? Like, when, I don't want to make, and I didn't want to make, I said to him this afternoon, I don't want to make these changes again and then come tonight and have to have, a whole nother round of red ink. So whatever issues there are still outstanding, if we can get those on the table, I think we can at least put this thing to bed, because we're going on draft 4 now, if we revise it yet again. So,
Mr. Austin, I see a lot of changes in wording throughout the document. Besides the changes of how you prefer things to be worded or how the town needs things to be worded, what are the major pitfalls here, if any?
The enforcement of provisions is not clear in my mind.
Is that the number 3?
I'm looking at 3 drafts, I'm sorry, I'm trying to line them up against each other. And that pertains to the fines that has been talked about a lot here. And as a matter of fact, that was addressed in Reading in the second draft, and it came back to me and was not changed in the last draft I saw.
Yeah, I do see circled with amount to be reviewed,
Well,
but this might be an old draft too.
yeah, that might be how I described it, because I did not know what your wishes were. It's not my agreement, it's mine to comment on and help you through.
Mr. President, may I?
Yes.
All right, we're gonna put it to bed. Jim had stood here a long time ago and joked about, he didn't care if it was $10,000. I think it should be $5,000. That's what I think. The fine if this is not completed in 10 years.
Actually, $1,000 a day,
Okay.
It's listed as a per day, I just wanna make sure I'm clear. The way, the $100 per day, and the reason it didn't change on the last draft over was because we didn't have a discussion about what town wanted, right?
That's exactly right.
So,
There was an assumption of 100. 100's ridiculous. Let me finish. I'm gonna say the fine should be it's 10 years. The fine should be $5,000. I think it's not a may be enforced by the town, I think it's a shall be enforced by the town. I also think that, the 300 feet, since we have residential property next door, should not be 300 feet, it should be adjacent, unless that residential property changes, then of course, you know, it changes. But then I don't think we'll have to worry about it. My other question is regarding Phase 1. We have a 22,000 plus square foot building. I thought, and is this going to be sprinkled?
No.
Okay, isn't there a 16,000 foot building?
Firewall. Yeah, you can put you get a one-time exception.
Okay.
With a firewall, up to 24,000 square feet, and no section of the building can be larger than 12. So in other words, Mr. Wolkening, you can't take a 22,000 square foot building and make one side 13,000, one 9. As long as both sections are less than 12,000 square feet, you get a one-time exception up to 24,000 square feet.
And that exception is per building?
Correct.
Okay, it's per building?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. And for the record, I'm fine with 1,000 a day, I'm fine with 5,000 a day. I don't care. I'm a man of my word.
Okay.
And I said, do your worst.
While you're standing there,
Yes, sir.
because in light of some other things some things have been shared with me.
Okay.
This first building, the second building, the third building, the fourth building, the fifth building, this is all conditioned space.
Correct.
It's all gonna be conditioned?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I think that, needs to be somewhere in here. It doesn't change.
So the term of industry is climate control.
All the buildings will be climate controlled?
Correct.
Okay.
And we've gotta agree, Chuck says 1,000, you said.
Hang on, I'm not done talking. I'm not done talking. That's all I have. I'm working off the original draft. I see the newest, well, I think it's the newest draft is much better. So, I'm agreeing with you that, we need to put this to bed. That's all I got.
Okay, now, do we have any other issues in this draft that we need to talk about other than the fine?
Is our proposal on IDEM okay with you guys?
They don't have that in the paragraph 6. Well, it is, a 2 o'clock this afternoon response that I got.
We don't have it in our package.
Are you, in concept, even if we have to, I shudder to say it, have one more meeting, are you okay with the concept? Because again, we're making this up as we go along, we're trying to, do what you want.
What is the thing for IDEM?
The item is, if we can't get the item NOI, then the agreement's null and void, because, and I don't know what else to do, because that wouldn't be that we have done anything that we can't follow through on the agreement, it would be to address the concerns, you have as a town. If that's overkill, tell us what to do, or let's ignore the issue, because my opinion has always been, we're gonna cover this in the building and engineering stage, but if Plan Commission and Dave believe that this is something we need to address right now, to me, that's probably the most protective way and simplest way to address this with the town. Best I can come up with, guys.
Tim?
I think that the performance bond is what needs to be done, just like a normal development. They keep a performance bond active until it's able to be turned into a maintenance bond. So if it's 1 year or 3 years or whatever the term is, it's just like we do for every other developer that's putting in infrastructure. They post that performance bond, he moves on. That money is sitting there in that bond until he performs the installation of that water main, at which time it's inspected and turned over to the town, and then he keeps it in maintenance for that time period and then moves on, just like a normal development would of any nature. So, I feel that the performance factor of it, normally, you walk out of here with a performance bond and it's up to the developer to apply for the NOI and get that stuff taken care of. We know that at this point in time, like Mr. Oshin stated, we're not gonna be able to get it tomorrow. So, it may be a month, it may be a year, it may be 2 years, but we know that as long as that performance bond is in hand for that water main extension, that at some point in the future, he has to agree, he has to keep that alive, because once it's posted, he's gonna have to renew it and keep it going, and that's, that's our surety that it's paid, that there's a bond sitting there for him to perform this task and get it done, so.
Is it okay if I comment on Mr. Kubiak's
Sure.
comments? Okay. Yeah, no problem. Mr. Kubiak's absolutely right, and that gets covered at issuance of building permit and the negotiations between Christopher Burke and DVG, no problem with that. But the issue we're trying to address on your behalf isn't, hey, we're able to go forward and, what's our obligation to actually put the public infrastructure? No problem there. Performance bond for that, turning into a maintenance bond, fine. The issue, as I'm hearing it, that you guys want some protection on, which isn't really a store-safe issue, is what happens if, because of the, factors completely outside of this development, which are, between the town and IDEM, we can't get the NOI. What protections does the town have that it couldn't deliver, so to speak, its end of the bargain? And the best I can come up with is, fine, and the thing is null and void, you have no liability, I have no liability, and we come up with a totally different plan. Again, this is before what Tim is talking about. This is, once we get the IDEM NOI, sure, we will bond installation of that infrastructure and then put a maintenance bond on it. This is what happens before, though, if we can't get it, through no fault of our own. Am I right or wrong about that?
The bond would be in place before you get it.
Bond can be in place before you get a building permit.
That's fine, but I'm saying that, the IDEM issue, as I understand it, is not really whether we perform or not, it's whether it can be issued in Cedar Lake at all. So. But
Mr. President,
while they're talking.
I wanna make them happy, I don't, you know, I'm guessing at how to make everyone happy.
So another thing, because I think what I'm hearing is that you might be concerned that the agreement might just be null and void if you can't get a permit. An alternative to that would be, is that you just release the bond, and that work is not required. If it can't be performed, he doesn't need it to be performed. You want it to be performed. So if it can't be performed, you just say, we're okay with that, and the agreement stays in place.
But what if we go ahead and, hold it until they do approve it?
That's most likely. I mean, I can't see that IDEM would not want you to put a 12-inch trunk line water main along US 41 to connect to provide looping in your system. So
The future use.
It will be
That would
approved
be
at some
surprising to
point.
me if they didn't approve that. Now, may take some time for that approval to happen. And he's gonna hold that performance bond, or you're gonna hold his performance bond until such time as it's permitted. I think we're talking about a scenario that's highly unlikely, and how do you want to handle that? Highly unlikely circumstance.
I'd like to hear what Don said.
Our job is for the citizens.
Yep.
I want a good copy of something.
Yep.
And if that needs an expiration date, 6 months or a year from now, to make it null and void, that's fine.
I want to know what Don was saying.
When an NOI is applied for, it will be approved. It's just a matter of when that NOI ends up going in. We can't give you a date on that right now. Most developers post letter of credits for a year expiration, come back, reduce them, or, you know, if everything's in, we flip it into maintenance. If you feel more comfortable, we can request this letter of credit when it's supposed to be, you know, 2-3 year expiration, so we don't have to keep coming back in a year if the NOI takes that long. I don't anticipate it to take that long, but something a little extra. We have a letter of credit value determined tonight if you so want to go that direction, so.
Aren't there some of those letter of credits that don't expire until,
But I think it depends on the bank.
Yeah.
I know there's been some that were.
I mean, I think probably a 2-year performance letter of credit is appropriate in this situation. Tie that to the final plat, which is petition number 1. So that would be a condition of the final plat approval. And then development agreement would be tied to the site plan approval, which I'm hearing that, you know, there's maybe some, an amount for the fine that needs to be addressed, and you need to have some assurance that the language is all in place, but I would say that you could make a conditional approval and that those things could, you want to pull a building permit. We want to get an infrastructure, some improvements going in the town of Cedar Lake. There's absolutely no water demand. There's no sanitary sewer connection. So there's no demand on any of the city utilities for this project. So it seems to me that we've all kind of negotiated, worked in good faith. We've got to a great spot, and you know, we would encourage a vote this evening. We really would like to have a vote this evening, because then we can move forward with preparing a building permit. We've got to prepare, you know, that final plat has to get recorded. That's going to take a week or 2 to get that done, get the new tax ID number. We'll come in and pull a building permit. He's got to get state design releases and such like that. So that puts us at about 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks out. I think all the little things could be in place, and if they're not, then, no, I think that's a good path forward.
I thought we had the whole bond situation figured out, the letters of credit, everything, before tonight. So I don't even know why this came up. Are we trying to get language put in, you're trying to get language put into the document that David has?
Yeah.
That, I don't understand what you're requesting here.
What we don't want, just like the fines, is we don't want to put Dave in a position where he's saying, look, I need plan commission direction, and plan commission is saying, we need Dave to chime in. And when we get a little post-it note on the red line that says, address IDEM, we don't know what that means.
Well, then you gotta ask him.
okay?
Because I don't know what it
do you
means
want us
either.
to do? Because I just don't wanna leave any open issues. I'm happy for this not to be an issue at all, and I agree with you. We were good, as far as I know, on bonding and everything. I don't know what language the town wants. We're kind of trying to guess on your behalf what you want, including, by the way, if y'all say, we don't want anything for IDEM, don't worry about it. Put your performance bond in, obligate yourselves to making these improvements, and let the chips fall where they may with IDEM. We're fine with that. We don't want to leave another open issue that we can't get done tonight or 2 weeks from now because,
Well, we're gonna close that issue tonight.
great.
So here, legally, not legally, do we need some language in there about this item that he's talking about?
I have no idea, and we won't know until we see IDEM coming up in the next week.
Yeah, but what he's talking about is he wants that if IDEM doesn't allow him to put in the 12-inch main, then the deal on the 12-inch main is null and void. Is that what you're saying?
That's not in this document.
Whatever you want. I'm
No,
just,
it's not what I want,
Can
Keith.
I ask a question?
I don't know if that's
Somebody,
necessary.
please,
Okay.
just go in circles.
David, does it make more sense, if the IDEM meeting is next week, does it make sense for everyone involved to, instead of guessing and anticipating, to wait until that meeting happens so we know what to write in, if anything?
I think so, Heather. It's on my list of items for the trip to Indianapolis.
This IDEM thing is a huge deal, so.
This has nothing to do with IDEM meeting in totality. This is, at its core, is a 12-inch water main extension. That is it. The water main extension is a much more holistic thing. No, they will not approve this because they're not gonna approve anything until we get larger issues with the water utility figured out. This specific, a 650, 675-foot water main extension is not going to come up in that meeting. Is not the purpose of that meeting. If they don't issue this NOI, then it doesn't go in. They will issue an NOI for this.
we're very
So,
happy not to address it
what-
at all.
I'm just looking at our legal department to give direction on listen, if the lawyer says he feels more comfortable waiting 2 weeks, that's gonna be my direction.
That's exactly what I told Attorney Westland today. It's not ready.
If it's not ready, then it's not ready. I mean, you know more about the law than I do, for sure. So if you're saying you feel more comfortable waiting until the IDEM meeting, until this can get...
Heather, let me preface this so it doesn't sound like the attorney's holding and doing the drag on this project. I'm not. I told the attorney that this afternoon also. The details here are Cedar Lake is in an unknown position about how these utilities are working, permitting is applied. What they told us on August 8th in a letter notice to us, and we don't have substantive answers as we sit here now, except to say, we're trying to find a way and a path so a project and a development and commercial activity can occur and continue to occur. But, and the but is, we don't know the answer exactly.
So
Don can render his opinion and Jack can render his opinion, but
it sounds to me like everything else is resolved with, I agree with what Jerry was saying, that was the other piece that was missing. And then, what is the harm in waiting 2 weeks and putting this on the work session?
It's cutting into their time.
As it's cutting into their time? Well, I'm not worried about their time, I'm worried about us legally. So if our lawyer is telling us that we need to wait, we need to wait. That's where I stand. It's 2 weeks, you guys can do a special public meeting at our work session in 2 weeks, and we can wrap it up.
and we can bring you a clean document.
I guess,
Yeah, and I would like something more than and red marks on a document don't do me well either. It's just a nice clean document would be helpful for me.
I guess I'm struggling a little bit, and, the water main is not related to the site plan.
Okay, we can go round and round all day.
Yep.
I would like to
We
make a
can.
motion
Sure.
and see where we're at.
All right, but we got more to talk about before we put up any motions. Not regarding this document only, but Don's letter had a list of items that I'd like to hear about.
We issued another letter
Take
today,
that
so we've
motion.
actually gone through, 2.5 reviews since the last meeting. I mean, the crux of it, the engineering is pretty dang close, the plat's good to go. We've got some minor issues to work out with lighting and a couple of minor comments engineering-wise, but as far as engineering-wise, it's pretty good.
So that letter I read from you with all this.
We issued another one literally today.
Okay, which we haven't seen.
Which you haven't seen, yes.
So again,
Okay.
That has the letter of credit values on it for the water main, the inspection fees, MS4 fees, that type of stuff. That would be part of final plat approval.
Part of your comments, Don, say in that driveway permit, you don't see any problems with that?
No, it's typical
spaces,
for anything on
typical,
your
everything's
highway. They're doing an expanded drive apron.
Okay.
Widen their entrance, so let's get a permit. They'll get a permit for the water main too, because it's in that right away.
Okay, so we have some minor items that you're concerned with right now, which shouldn't hold us up at this time. Okay. Heather, go ahead and make your motion.
I'd like to make a motion to defer this to our work session and make it a special.
There are two things you're voting on today, plat, final plat, and site plan, just to let you know.
Well, my motion is the same for both.
Defer both.
I'll second it.
Who said second?
I did.
Terry. Okay, we got a motion by Ms. Deschauer to defer this to the work session, to a special meeting at the work session. And it was seconded by Mr. Wilkening. And the work session will be
October 2nd.
October 2nd at 6 p.m. And as our procedure is, all special meetings go to the end of the work session. Do we have any questions on the motion?
No, sir.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Becker?
No.
Mr. Parker?
Yes, although this item does give me a headache.
Me too. I'll agree with that.
Mr. Carnahan?
No.
Mr. Hunley?
No.
Ms. Deschauer?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkening?
Yes.
Mr. Capora?
Well, we need some answers, and I gotta vote yes. Motion carries 4-3.
Thank you, everybody.
You bet.
See you in 2 weeks.
Number 3, Neil Poplin, primary plat, owner petition, Neil Poplin, 9204 West 143rd Avenue, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Cindy of 9212 West 143rd Place, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Petitioner is requesting a one-lot subdivision. Hi.
Hello, Jack Hulls from DVG, representing the petitioner Neil. Neil is in the room. Would like to request a public hearing on this primary plat application for a one-lot subdivision. Parcel you can see is on Burr Street, on the, I believe on the southwest side of town.
That's correct, that's correct.
Yeah, don't worry. It's a meets and bounds parcel, like to build a house that's, it exceeds the size required by the zoning. So we're gonna do a one-lot subdivision. Talked about an easement for sanitary sewer that's shown on the primary plat as well. Made some review comments, we got those back to him. I turned legal notices into Dave, so turn it back over to you.
Don, do you have anything to add?
There's a 9-9 letter in your packet. We actually issued another one to strip one of the 3 comments out today, but it's ready to go with 2 contingencies. Our typical engineering waivers for plots like this, park dedication, tree placement, stormwater detention, frontage improvements, and sidewalks. And then also contingent on the utility easement extending north of this parcel to 142nd Place to tap into the main, that be a recorded document that the town and CBEL get a copy of.
Is that all in your letter?
It's all in the letter.
And that letter's dated today?
September 18th, most current one.
Building department have anything?
Nope, just that was our concern, was just that sewer easement being placed.
And that covers it all. Commissioners have any comments?
I don't.
No, sir.
Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion regarding the property at night.
Remonstrator.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I'm sorry, but Shall, we have to start putting
It's a public hearing.
the agenda, what I gotta follow, because it's not on here. All right, I'm gonna call for remonstrators for or against. And the remonstrators for or against. Last call for remonstrators. Seeing none? Jack?
Do you guys ask that legals are in order?
Yeah.
They are? Legals are in order? Legals are in order?
Yes, he said they are.
Okay.
Scott, can you hear me?
I can now.
Okay, good. I want to make sure you hear me. Legals are in order.
Yes, I got you. Okay, so I got legals, I got remonstrators, I got you, I got Don. Commissioners have no comment, and Mr. Wilkeny made a motion, or was starting to?
I will start again regarding the property at 9212 West 143rd. I'm going to make a motion, we approve the petitioner's request for a one-lot subdivision.
You say reference our 918 letter?
Referencing Christopher Burke and Don Oliphant's letter from 9/18/2024.
Second.
I got a motion by Mr. Wilkeny to approve, and a second by, with contingent on letter, Don's letter of 9/18/24, seconded by Mr. Hunley. Roll call, please.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Carnahan?
Yes.
Mr. Hunley?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkeny?
Yes.
Mr. Pecora?
Yes, motion carries 7-0.
Perfect, we'll see you next month for our final plat on this petition.
Okay.
Can you always bring the easy ones?
Try it.
Number 4, V&L Plumbing Inc., site plan. Owner petitioner, V&L Plumbing Inc., 9621 North Industrial Drive, St. John, Indiana, 46373. Vicinity of 13791 Alexander Street, Railside, Lot 23, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Petitioner is requesting site plan for new business in Railside, Lot 23.
Hello, Jack Halls from DVG, representing the petitioner. Lewis is here from V&L Plumbing. V&L is under contract to purchase Lot 23 and Railside and has submitted a site plan for your consideration. We've gotten a couple reviews from Don regarding it. We think we are basically through that. There are a couple little contingency type things that are typical. So we are looking forward to your feedback and approval tonight.
Okay, are legals in order on this?
You don't need legals on this. Site plan, it's not a,
Just thought I'd ask.
you're checking.
Don, any questions?
Yeah, we've
Any
gone
comments?
through 913 letters in your packet. We also issued a letter later today at 918. We essentially have 3 comments we're working through left, so it's ready. We'll figure those things out as we go.
Do I have to call remonstrators?
No.
No? Okay, commissioners have anything?
I have a question for Don.
Yep.
It says applicant stated they are still working with NIPSCO to vacate this easement. There's not a designated area for utilities over there?
So this is
Rail
an
side?
old easement associated with the old property. Essentially, NIPSCO made them record an easement to run electrical service from 141st up, and that is still in existence, and it runs through this lot as well as other ones as well. So it was meant to be vacated, and Jack can tell you the hassles he's having with NIPSCO right now.
That's getting corrected.
Yeah, it is, and just so, I mean, maybe you got the site plan that you can pull up, because it's shown on there as well.
Okay.
But you can see it on this, on the aerial, if you want to look here.
That driveway.
Where the road is there's an easement basically over that road. Lewis's proposed site plan does not go into that easement, so it's really not
It's
What I
their
mean
parking
is,
area, they
I mean,
would flip it.
it's
Building
cleanup,
doesn't go over.
work with NIPSCO for them to release it. It takes 6 months to a year.
Took me 11 years.
If you look at
It
the page
is super hard to get
there's
NIPSCO realistic
packet
to
PDF.
respond to those requests, but we've gotten, actually got emails from, gas and electric, engineers on the project, so there's no facilities currently in that easement. And so we just need to get, and we prepared, get into the weeds a little bit on the specifics, but the easement actually goes all the way down to 133rd, or 141st, excuse me.
Yeah.
We don't want to vacate the entire document because it's being recorded, it'd be released after the plat, so then technically the easement that we recorded on the plat would also go away, which we don't want to do. So we have a separate document that covers lot 23 and 22, which are the two lots that are affected by that. So we've got that document prepared and it's already in the hands of NIPSCO. We just need the sign-offs on it. It's really more of a title issue for Lewis than it is a site plan approval process for you guys. And that's why Don hasn't really made much more of it than that.
You also have on here, Don, the facility is now located 15 feet from a proposed storm inlet. What's the resolution for that?
Which one was that? Was there?
It's item 4, not addressed. It says a concrete washout facility.
It got moved. That concrete.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Okay.
That's
Construction.
not-
They got
yeah,
shifted.
we fixed that.
Okay, yep. I have nothing else.
Make a motion to approve the site plan.
I'll second it.
Do we need to put contingent on his letter of 9/13?
9/8, say 9/18.
You want a contingent on that, Don, or you said you work through it as you go?
Make a contingent.
Contingent on Don's comments in his
I
letter.
got one question.
Okay, Tim's got a comment.
Are you guys cool with the two Connex boxes there? I mean, I don't know what the zoning, what is the zoning in here? I mean, I know it's a industrial park, but I also know we have in our ordinance, it doesn't allow for Connex boxes, but I don't know.
We need to double check the PUD probably.
I think the PUD, because we did look into that when we were doing the site plan, I'm pretty sure the PUD does allow.
I just know they're drawn on the site plan, so I didn't know.
I'll make my motion
Yeah, I mean,
contingent.
we didn't want to hide anything.
No, and I
You know,
appreciate that, but I just wanted to make sure they'd seen that. I just didn't know if it was.
There's only 2.
Only two, and they're shown, and they're for, basically outdoor secure storage.
I'll make my motion contingent on Don's comments and contingent on clearing the Connex boxes with the PUD agreement.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Mr. Parker, seconded by Mr. Wilkening. Any discussion?
No.
If not, roll call, please.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Carnahan?
Yes.
Mr. Hunley?
Yes.
Ms. Stetauer?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkening?
Yes.
Mr. Purpura?
Yes, motion carries 7-0.
Welcome to Cedar Lake.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I would anticipate sometime in the next couple of weeks, you'll get a building permit application.
Number 5, request a waiver, Oak Brook Phase 1, owner Cedar Lake, 133 LLC, P.O. Box 677, St. John, Indiana, 46373. Shilling Development, P.O. Box 677, St. John, Indiana, 46373. City of Oak Brook Phase 1. Representative Jack Halls, DVG. Petitioners requesting a waiver from the developmental standard to place surface asphalt before 80% occupancy has been reached in Oak Brook Phase 1.
Hello, Jack Halls from DVG, representing the petitioner this evening on the Oak Brook Phase 1 project. This is a drone photo from today, where you can see that all but one house, which is a corner house, which is under roof, has all the flat work done, and that was one of the things that you were concerned about. So your ordinance states that 80% needs to have their CO, Certificate of Occupancy, before they can do the surface coat of asphalt, and we're asking for a waiver of that so that we can put the surface coat down on this subdivision prior to the winter months. We feel it meets the spirit of that, and we'd like to get a good wearing surface, to be able to have proper drainage on that road in the wintertime, and also for plow trucks and that kind of stuff, so.
All lots are built out?
Yeah, all the lots, every lot has a building permit. That house on the corner there is the only one that doesn't have the driveways, the flat work.
No, these two as well.
in, which is really what you're kind of looking.
3 of them.
There's 3?
Top 2, and the one in the corner, these guys.
Oh, those
And
two over
these
there,
guys.
yeah, I didn't see that.
It's 60%.
Yeah, so.
What's your percentage then if it's not 80?
Oh, they were like 75. So I have no issues with it. They still have some punch list items to work out infrastructure-wise, so this will not be rotating into maintenance. It may at the end of the year, but it's still going to remain in performance for at least a couple more months, I would anticipate.
We had
So,
talked at the last meeting, I don't know if it was this one or the last one, you had added some comments.
the next one.
Okay.
Yeah. This one's, it's literally, once they get one of those duplexes occupied, they'll be at 80. And the fact that one of the 4 already has the flat work done down here in the corner, there will not be a whole lot of trucks running in there associated with phase 1. I mean, they're gonna be moving really quick on phase 2 up to the north, but.
And that flat work will be done before the paving actually gets to.
Yeah, they probably won't pay for another, what, week or 2?
Yeah.
Did you guess?
Yeah, that flat work will probably be done sometime next week, and then they'll pave the following week after that, so.
Yep.
When does the performance turn into a maintenance? At what stage of it?
Once they essentially have met all their public infrastructure obligations, so once they have all their utilities in, roads paved, addressed all of our punch list, met all of public works inspections, you know, water main testing, sewer testing, all that fun stuff. So we still have to get through some of that stuff, so
Right.
it'll be a while until they flip, but it'll most likely be end of the year, would be my guess.
Right. And the surface coat of asphalt, generally, surface coat of asphalt and your punch list items of fixing cracks and sidewalks and that kind of stuff are usually the things that keep us in a performance bond a little bit longer. And in this particular case, we're so close, and we would like to get that paving down, because it's gonna be a better wearing surface and will prevent future maintenance issues if we get it down now, as opposed to waiting until 6 months, basically, because you're gonna have snow, it's gonna be wet in the spring, and
Yeah, I don't have any problem with it being paved, but I wanna hold off on that maintenance letter as long as possible, that conversion, because if there is any damage, I don't want to the final coating, if there is any damage, I don't want it coming out of maintenance that should be taken care of out of a different pocketbook, you know?
No, this won't speed it up that much at all. It may just get them a month ahead, because I think one of those 4 will have occupancy in the next couple of weeks, and once that, then they'll be at 80%, they don't need to ask, they can just do it.
All right.
So Don, are you happy with recommending with only 75%?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
I'll make a motion to approve a waiver from the development standards to place surface asphalt before 80% occupancy has been reached in Oak Brook Phase 1.
Who seconded it?
Jim Hunley.
Motion by Mr. Parker, seconded by Mr. Hunley. Any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Carnahan?
Yes.
Mr. Hunley?
Yes.
Ms. Betzauer?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkening?
Yes.
Mr. Kapora?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Number 6, request of waiver, Beacon Point, Unit 5 West, Cedar Lake, owner Cedar Lake 133 LLC, P.O. Box 677, St. John, Indiana 46373. Petitioner showing development, P.O. Box 677, St. John, Indiana 46373. City of Beacon Point, Unit 5 West, Representative Jack Halls, DVG. Petitioner is requesting a waiver from the developmental standard to place surface asphalt before 80% occupancy has been reached in Beacon Point, Unit 5 West.
So this request is similar. This subdivision, as you can see, this is a drone photo from today. It is largely built out. We have 2 lots here and then 2 lots up front and the barn lot. So we're making basically the same request, that we are be allowed to put the final coat of asphalt down. We know that there's some punch list that is also probably outstanding. That will need to be corrected. We'll get those done, and would be seeking to turn this into maintenance probably, right before the end of the year. So probably in November, right as the plant's closed, all the repairs will be done, and then, we'll be ready to turn this over.
This one's in the lower 70%, I think, is what it's at.
Lower 70s?
Lower 70s. This one, I would say, if they do get everything done prior to the 80, you keep it in maintenance until they get to 80. And it may sync up the same way, but this one you can, you know, I would recommend waiving it contingent that they don't rotate into maintenance until they get to that 80% if they've met all obligations.
I think we're fine with that. It's really,
Got it. I know exactly what you mean.
You're dealing with Northwest Indiana and construction season, and then ordinances that don't necessarily sync up, and it's like, just trying to do stuff that makes sense. Pave when it's sunshine.
Well, here again, my same comments, and I don't have any problem with laying that asphalt down now when you're that close, so. Any other comments?
No, sir.
If none, I will entertain a motion on this one.
I'll make a motion, we approve the waiver for the final surface prior to 80% occupancy, and that the maintenance, it'd be held in maintenance bond and not rotated until it's 80%.
Held in performance.
Held in performance.
Until they have 80% occupancy.
Until they have 80% occupancy.
Correct.
Have a motion by Mr. Wilkening. Second by Mr. Becker. Roll call, please.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Carnahan?
Yes.
Mr. Hunley?
Yes.
Ms. Stenshour? Yes. Mr. Wilkening?
Yes.
Mr. Kapur?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Okay, update item, Cedar Lake Storage. I got an email from, Nathan Viss, as well as a couple other people, and some pictures of the finished asphalt. He wanted to know if he should be here tonight or Zoom, and I told him if it was done, I didn't think it was necessary. The only question I got is, Tim, is he done?
Yeah, it looks good. The only outstanding item is the public sidewalk in the front of the property still, so, that still has a performance bond, correct?
That's a separate performance bond. I think the one noted as update item 3 is the one for their private, because the other one's small, it's like 8,000, I think.
Right, yeah. But it's all, they got striping and pavement and trailers moved around, and it looks awesome.
All the spaces are striped,
Yeah, spaces are all striped, it looked good.
per what we approved.
I can't tell you that. I've seen the stripes, I did not compare it to what was approved, but it is striped. I will double check that, but I don't wanna say yes without looking at it, so.
Thank you.
As long as
It
that,
looks good, it looks official, but I didn't compare it to.
as long as all those items are addressed, this letter of credit can be allowed to expire on October 20th with no maintenance necessary since it's private. We'll keep an eye on the public one. I'm not sure when that one expires, but.
Right.
So you'll have it,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, you'll have it checked before the 20th when it expires?
Correct, yes.
And that letter of credit is just for the asphalt portion, right?
This one is just for the asphalt interior private.
Drain and asphalt,
Yeah,
okay.
everything else is included in a smaller one for public improvement.
All right. Okay, number 2, one of our favorites, Rose Garden Estates, Unit 1.
I don't know about this specific letter of credit, so I think Kirsten has to do some legwork with them to kind of verify if they're going to extend. I did reach out to Lennar last week. They're aware of their 3 letter of credits that are still outstanding. They said they're working on them. The gentleman that normally handles that subdivision in the field, Tom McSherry, has been promoted to their Director of Land Development.
He's killing it, he should be promoted.
I know. So he will be at your meeting on October 2nd. He's supposed to meet one of our inspectors out there next week to try to jump back onto our outstanding punch lists and start moving. I'm not going to say quicker, I'm going to say moving at all.
So we're gonna see them on the 2nd?
Yes, they will be here.
One of your inspectors?
Yes.
But the 2nd is a work session.
You requested them to, at your last work session, you requested them to come.
Correct.
Yeah.
But this expires October 11th.
We'll still have time though.
You can, I would advise putting a pull date on it, and that's expiring October 11th. David can chime in on this, but probably October 4th, it's a Friday before, it gives us a week.
Yeah, that'll work. They have a local servicing branch in Peoples,
Yeah,
so it'll be easy to prepare and serve them.
so if you want to set a pull date, and then I'll have Kirsten contact their people to extend it.
We can set that now.
You could?
Yep.
Yeah.
Might as well, it's a public meeting.
So October 4th, what,
It gives us a week.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
motion by Mr. Wilkening to pull on the, performance, letter of credit of Rose Garden Estates Unit 1, on October 4th, 2024. Seconded by Mr. Parker. Roll call, please.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Kernahan?
Yes.
Mr. Hunley?
Yes.
Ms. Stenshour? Yes. Mr. Wilkening?
Yes.
Mr. Kapur?
Yes, motion carries 7-0.
Just to add, so one of those items you'll see on the screen here, this is the Beacon East Unit 1 pond as of today, I believe. Okay. There you
Pretty.
go, check there. I don't know if anybody has anything to say about it, but it's a little different than 2 weeks ago. All of the blankets down, it's in. Pond still gotta come up a little bit more, but haven't had any rain to do that, so
Looks great.
it's looking good. Be nice if we got some rain.
I talked to a resident today and they said it looks like a river.
We're not changing it again.
Yeah,
I think that was a compliment, so.
Yeah, that was a compliment.
Did you enhance the color, Don?
And I also talked to Bob last night, Rozak, and he said they were gonna be happy with 70% of it improved, but he said it's 90% improved and they're very happy with it.
Well, he was also good last night with, dirt bikes on that area that's not seeded yet.
We're not going back.
Okay,
We're going forward.
number three, Cedar Lake Stars, performance letter of credit expires October 20th, 2024. Is that the one you were just talking
That's
about?
what we were just talking about.
So we're gonna let that one expire.
Yep.
See now, everything is done. Okay. All right, yes, Tim?
I have one question on update items. We've received the permit for, the 41 storage next to Rose Garden. The two front buildings are proposed to be rental office spaces versus storage.
When did that happen?
I don't know, and I can't find anything in the,
I thought that was always part of it. Isn't that part of the
We're gonna rent out?
development agreement? No, I think they said a co-working space, which isn't renting. It's like daily renting.
Those are supposed to be offices, from what I remember.
I remember offices.
Just flat offices,
Okay.
like,
not rental.
what is your term of office? Is that, because that's what.
Like for them, like their office.
Yeah.
I don't ever remember talking about anyone else renting space or using space, unless I'm crazy. I don't remember. This has been going on for like 6 years.
I don't either.
Right, well, the plan shows for both of those entire two front units are basically office spaces for rent, I guess, like Don's saying, shared.
Jack, I think I'm talking about it.
Yeah.
Jack, don't do that. Come on.
I remember what was spoken.
DVG did do that project, I did not represent, so I can't say specifically what was communicated to you, but I think we should probably look at the minutes of the meetings to see what was presented, because I do recall the conversation in the office that those were, when we talk about rentals, we're not talking their office space that is tenant space that can be rented. It is not, like.
Business.
Those two buildings are way more space than would be needed for.
So then we would
a
have
dealer.
multiple businesses on one property. That conversation I would have remembered, because I don't like that.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Am I crazy? What did you guys
I
remember?
was not part of the conversations, I'm
You're
just
right.
saying.
I remember asking specifically when they were showing the buildings, that could you guys, I think Russ was here.
It was Russ, yeah.
It was Russ.
Yeah.
I asked about, I said, so you go in the foyer, and then there's hallways, and then you go to your door where you have your stuff stored. It's climate controlled. They said, yes. So when I caught wind of this retail office rental, I was a little confused. The gentleman did say he was probably gonna have to have somebody there for a while, but he had hoped to get it into an electronic format like a lot of these places are now.
Yeah. I think it would be, would love to see the minutes on the conversation, and,
We've started looking through the minutes, but unfortunately, these things are on 20 different meetings, and it's pretty hard to...
His stretch is a long time.
and I think hard to narrow it down.
Why doesn't he just come back to the work session?
Well, I guess I just didn't know
Can you get us
what
the
anybody's
plans?
thoughts
The
were.
original plans?
Yeah, I'll debrief with Russ in the morning and make sure.
But I surely would have expected some kind of a PUD or some type of an agreement with you guys if that was the approval.
We went through such a rigmarole with Cedar Lake Storage, and they wanted to use that one space in the front to rent out half of it, because it was 2,400 square feet. We spent more time than I want to admit on that. There's no way this would have swept by me, no way.
No, they're
No way.
talking about,
Tim just brought this item up, that's the one that's under construction next.
Well, we did issue the permits for the rear, 3 buildings because everything matched up. The front 2 buildings are still here, not released, because we had questions and we can't find, the girls have been listening to the meetings and trying to find minutes and going through that stuff, but I just thought since we were at this meeting, I would just kind of run it by you guys to see.
Well, if Jack can find the stuff, that's gonna be easier to do.
Yeah, we can find out what we submitted, and we can also figure out what meetings we were actually on and had those conversations.
I really don't think we talked a lot about those front buildings, because they said they were gonna be offices, or an office.
Right, and they probably...
all the back was gonna be storage.
And I guess they probably didn't realize that multiple businesses on one parcel is an issue for the town.
I don't know about that. That just seems like a little side gate there.
But if they communicated that with offices, they may have said, well, they know.
They said that they probably would have to have an office.
Their site plan
You're
shows-
really conjecture
their
at this
site
point,
plan
I'd rather
does-
not, let's look at the minutes.
The site plan does reflect what they're saying, because there's quite a few parking spaces in the front of that building. It's set up to do exactly with what they're asking to do, but there's zero, use agreement or restriction.
Multiple business.
There's nothing that I've found as of yet, and we've been looking, that shows.
What about when they came up for concept plans?
Well, and again, they were to 25, you guys know, but they were to 20 meetings, so it's very hard to, we're going through it, but I just kind of wanted to get a feel for what you guys remember up here, just to see if you guys would have just said, oh yeah, that's what we approved, I can give them the permits and move on, but
No, I don't remember
I didn't
that
think it was gonna happen, but I figured it was worth a try.
So, hopefully in 2 weeks, we'll be able to at least tell you what we know.
Okay, sounds good, I appreciate that.
Well, whoever was asked for, I guess. Because if they were.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Spaces, there'd be.
Topic came up at last meeting about, the topic in particular had to do with a party that came in here and accused Tim of not doing his due diligence on, home permit. You probably saw last night, he provided proof that he was correct with his
Pull that up.
inspection of the site plan.
Huseman Street, Fleming.
So, I would like to point out that he has documentation to support that he did his job on that item. Is that right? And B, there's a subdivision group came in last night and talked about, and this is the one that I told you that was coming, where these people try to put pieces together and build a bigger house than the lot will accept.
Yeah, I watched that last night, I saw it.
I just wanted to bring that to the plan commission's attention, that type of thing is forthcoming and it has to be addressed correctly at some point.
I don't even know how big that piece of property is, does it say that?
Click on that lot C, Don, would you, that out lot C along the lake?
Yeah.
Like 5,000 square feet, isn't it?
How much?
I think it's 5,000 square feet.
Well, if you zoom in, Don, the north properties, they wanted to chop up that lot C and sell it to the adjacent property owners. And the question came up about whether or not subdivision approval was needed. And they got their answer today, because evidently they were told otherwise by the HOA president. I was at that meeting and I heard exactly what was spoken. So that's why it's around.
I just want to make sure everybody's aware of it.
We'll be waiting for it. Okay, any other comments?
Public comment?
Public comment, yes. Sorry. Good evening.
Hi, Angie Michaelajczyk, 12806 Lee Court. I have three things that I would like to say. First of all, I would like to thank this board and the town for resolving the drain and the sidewalk issue in my front yard. The day after the last meeting, the sidewalk was removed.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you. Number two, try to keep this short. If you have any questions after my statement, I'd appreciate it if you ask. I did some work on the side of my house to put like a little swale, and I did some landscaping. During that same time, my direct neighbor had installed sprinklers running along the south of my property line, and also in the easement between the sidewalk and the street, which, because it's on a hill, the water comes in the front of the street. So I was questioning my mind. I didn't know if they could put sprinklers in on the easement. So instead of calling, I just thought to myself, well, I'll do a records request, because the survey would help me too for the landscaping that I was doing, the survey that he had got, just to make sure that our surveys matched. So when I did that, I said, well, why not? Let me go ahead and ask for the shed information, the permit and on the shed and the survey for the shed. So I did receive a response for the records request saying that there were no permits needed for the sprinkler system, which is fine. And then the second one on the shed, I received a copy of the permit application as well as the proposed shed survey. And it appears to me that something may have been overlooked, because on that proposed survey, it shows, the permit shows that the shed was 24 by 12, and on the survey, it shows 20 by 12, which, according to what I'm looking at, being next door, that the survey also showed a drainage easement on the neighbor's property, which we were told numerous times did not exist, and also, to my surprise, a utility easement. So it appears from looking at that, that shed is actually in the drainage easement and the utility easement. Now, on June 19th, in this Plan Commission hearing, we had asked about if there was any BZA approval needed on the shed, and we were said that it met all the setbacks and requirements. However, after getting the information, I did do some math, and it looks like that's 30% lot coverage with including that shed. I added up the math with the house, the garage, and the shed. And as an adjacent property owner, I was never notified of that, to be able to voice my concerns with that. So that was number two. And number three, back in, I'm sorry, that was in May, not June. In June, I had brought up the fact that there was a lot of services going on within 300 feet of my home. That was the next house. There was exterior painting, there was deck construction, employees going in and out. And since I did the records request, I had notified to see if there was any permits, because I didn't see any permits posted. And I brought up the fact that there was no permit posted. So I did a records request, and my records request said on it that no records exist. So I was just calling, I just wanted to let you know because I didn't want to call and, you know, complain about everyone. To me, this is not about who has a permit, who doesn't. It's about fairness and consistency within the town. If you need any back history on my story, I can provide that to you. So
you're saying that the shed is 24, not 20?
no, sir, I'm not saying the shed is 24 by 12. The permit application is saying it.
Permit application said 24 by 12, but the shed is actually 20 by 12, is what I heard.
No, the proposed survey on the lot, because they had said that the surveyor placed it on the lot, it's actually, it shows 20 by 12.
But it's actually 24 by 12.
According to the permit, correct. I didn't go out there with the measuring tape, but that's what it says. And then there was electricity hooked up to it. And the issue with that is I had, the deck that I have is basically constructed. So you can know the story on that. I'm not going to say that. But the green tag was issued almost immediately on that shed, like within a couple of days. And then after that, electricity was hooked up. I still don't have a green tag on my deck.
Did you call for an inspection?
No, but this isn't about me. I was just trying to make a point, but thank you.
No, I mean, we don't just come out and inspect it. That man called in for an inspection, so we come out and inspect it. If you don't, you need to request an inspection, and we would be out there the next day.
Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I will do that.
I do remember asking if it needed BZA approval. It certainly would need a permit if there was electric hooked up to it after it got moved.
Correct, and I'm not aware of that, and I also not, I mean, I know I looked at the site plan, and I know that there was an inspection done, and the shed was not in the easement according to the site plan, but I can't verify that it's 20 or 24 feet though, so I don't.
Can you revisit it?
Yeah, we'll check it out.
Well, I do have to say,
And see if there's electric hooked up there.
there was electric hooked up to it before it was moved.
Please.
So it was just reconnecting what he had done. And it's, as long as we're talking about minute meetings, it's 48 minutes and I think it was 38 in the May 15th meeting that was said that there was no BZA requirements. And the town confirmed that and said it was no drainage easement. But also, even without looking at the paperwork, it would be nice if somebody would actually come and look, because there is not 15 feet behind that shed. And the reason it matters to me, like I said, is consistency and fairness, but we talk a lot about Wild Wild West and trying to get things how they're supposed to be and whatever, and I don't know what the plan is for the stormwater board, if they're going to put in a drain in my backyard, or if they're actually going to do the ditch that wasn't put in, or maybe if that's the situation. So with the shed being there, it could affect what I need done on my property also, not to even mention the amount of stuff that's still on that hill, as far as, I think there's 8 railroad ties connected and all that stone, which is still in the drainage easement, which was the foundation for the shed before the shed was removed. And on the permit application, there was no mention of a foundation underneath, which I know there was a stone foundation put in for the new placement of it.
Can you revisit those issues and see what?
As far as the stone, I mean, the stone pad is not I mean, if people choose to put a stone pad down, that's not really a part of the permit process, but the size could, I mean, I'll definitely look at the size, and all I can tell you is that the site plan that was turned in by the surveyor that showed the size of the shed was not in the drainage easement, it was 10 feet from the house, it fit on the, you know what I mean, so I don't know the 15 feet behind the shed, I don't know all this.
Okay, well.
But I can definitely look into them for you.
Thank you, sir, I appreciate.
I mean, that's all I can do.
I appreciate that, and I didn't want to go in detail, but the fact does remain, the property is 10,400 and some odd square feet, which is 0.24 acres, and doing the math with the buildings, it still comes up to 30% lot coverage. And I know that, you know, I have things to say about that, and I wasn't afforded the opportunity. And the BZA, in my opinion, was kind of stepped upon, because that's what you guys do. is give approvals. And I've been in enough BZA meetings where I see people are saying, no, you can't put it there because it goes in the easement, or, no, it's more than 25% lot coverage, or, no, you need to move it. So I don't know where the fairness is for the resident.
We certainly want everything to be fair and consistent, and Tim's gonna review it, and if it's not right, we'll revisit it.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, and what about the permit issue? Let me extrapolate on that. The issue is, this particular person, he was preparing his home for sale. He put it on the market, the town had sent some violations, and right after that, he started to repair his house, and he put it on the market, I believe it was August 16th, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, August 16th, he put it on the market. Since then, he's dropped the price 2 times, so obviously he's motivated to sell that property. And the problem I have with that is he wasn't permitted for many things. And I've reported that. And where I stand, I was told that my neighbor reported me, and the next day I got a red tag on my door. So, I mean, I was talking about, since May, talking about this.
Well,
and now he's going to sell the property, which is 5 months.
That, part of what you're describing, I mean, certainly he should have had permits for any work that he did there that required a permit. If he did not, that's good. Heather, there's still a spot on the disclosures, has any work been done without permits? And that's,
It's 3 times the amount, right?
I'm talking about a real estate disclosure.
Oh, okay.
That would give the person that buys the property, if they find out that there was work done without permits, some angle to revisit that type of thing for failure to fill out the real estate disclosure. Of course, that's civil, isn't it?
It is. I know somebody was out to check on a complaint about working without a permit, but I don't know the details, because Tony and Ed were out there, so I don't know what was I heard that somebody called to check it, and I know they went out and checked, but I don't know the results, so.
Well, I didn't call, so that wasn't me, but I do want to say...
Somebody called, that's all.
Yes, I know. Like, his shed is 24 by 12, whereas my deck is 20 by 10. He was charged $95, I was charged $115 times 3, so I had to pay $345 for a less area than he had, which he only had to pay whatever. So I don't know.
Well, there's some council members here tonight, we'll pick that up for discussion.
You want me to explain the theory of this, or I can explain it to you simply, because I know.
Okay.
The deck is based on the cost of the deck by $25 a square foot, so $75 for the first $5,000, and then it's $10 for each additional $1,000. So the math is calculated on the cost of the deck. The deck was built on the property without a permit, so it was 3 times the cost of the permit. So your permit was probably, what'd you say you paid, $240, or how much?
$345.
So $345 divided by 3 would have been your initial permit.
$115.
$115 would have been the cost of that permit.
Okay, but he put on his shed, the value was $7,200.
The shed calculations are...
Because my deck was less than that. Anyway, that's all detailed stuff.
The shed calculations, I think he was charged, I think the shed calculations is similar. The first $5,000, the first so many dollars is $75, and then $10 per thousand, so it's a square footage. If you look at the worksheet, it makes sense, but
okay, that's
like I said, the only reason that, and I know that's what you're upset about, but at the end of the day, I didn't charge him 3 times the permit fee because he did not have a violation. The shed was on the neighbor's property. It wasn't on his.
It was on both properties. We said that if you want me to go back in the minutes, I could do that, but I don't want to argue. I know what I'm talking about because I lived it, and I'm still living it. I know you all have all kinds of other things to do, but I'm telling you, I don't want to argue. I wanted to thank you, and I wanted to be brief.
And I agree with that, and we absolutely want to be fair and consistent. If there's anything that's happened over there without a permit that you can prove, same deal should apply.
Well, I'm sorry, but I emailed on August 22nd, Mr. Bungie, with all the photos and all the information, even after I said it here in May.
Well, unfortunately, Angie, I mean, Jeff is kind of at a disadvantage because he has gotten a lot of stuff piled on him from the absence of a building administrator that he doesn't really have time to cultivate or the understanding to cultivate it. So that's something that we have to get corrected.
Okay.
I mean, he's supposed to be the town manager, and he has one assistant. He's gotten all this stuff piled on him that normally wouldn't be in the wheelhouse of the town manager.
And we're in the process of trying to hire somebody.
Okay, well, I understand all your explanations, and I do appreciate it. You have to understand from my point of view, even Mr. Wilkening had said in the past, if there was a helicopter that could come and issue a violation, the helicopters would be in the sky, or whatever you said. Okay, I got a violation the next day. Concentrate on that. Why did I get a violation the next day? And how come it's taking other people 4 or 5 months? That's what I'm trying to say.
We need to drill down on that as well.
Okay, Angie, you...
Thank you.
I interrupt you all the time, but
Yes.
you said you had 3 points. You
Those
made
are my
that
3
point.
points.
And, okay, thank you.
Any answers, or just go away?
I can just like to give you one answer,
Well-
because I know how you're feeling, and I guess the only reason that what happened to you happened is because the neighbor that came in to get the shed said, by the way, she is building a deck in her backyard without a permit. So at that point in time, we looked at that complaint, and it was noticed and done. And unfortunately, that's the only reason. There was no picking or no nothing.
Well-
It was just brought to our attention while we
Mr.
were dealing
Kubiak?
with the mess, and that was it.
I understand.
Yeah,
and that would be a reasonable,
That was how it happened.
However, the red tag included a fence panel on the opposite side of my house. Did the neighbor call about that fence panel, or did the town issue that?
That was
Which,
just...
by the way, it's
what was-
gone.
That was just what was seen there by reporting that there was work without a permit, that was it. No, nothing else. So would you rather said the fence was never permitted, that you didn't build, the fence that was there before you built your house was never before you bought your house, was not permitted?
Okay, so does that mean, and I think we should clarify for this town, does that mean when a property owner, when somebody purchases a property in Cedar Lake, that you have to make sure, no matter what, every single thing in your house is permitted through the town? I mean, that would be a lengthy process by the time you do a home inspection and all the other things that you have to do when you buy a house.
Okay, this, here again, I've told you this many a time.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sopora.
This is not the place for your complaints. Comments. Any other public comment?
Brenda Roberts, 15008 Moore Street. Good evening.
All right.
I have been away at home in Germany for quite a while, a month or so, and I do not have adequate information about a bridge being built on 153rd. In Lake Dale. Now, that I believe is Cedar Lake property. Was that run through you?
What bridge?
153rd's in the county.
Yeah, but you own that too. It's in Cedar Lake.
It's not in Cedar Lake. That was part of the contention with the topic that came up in the past for I can't even talk about that.
Yeah, okay, because...
I recall the bridge being approved by the county, not by us.
It's there.
But I thought it was Cedar Lake.
No, it's there.
Oh, because they were doing a development there.
153rd. I can't talk about that.
Well, can I talk about it?
It's not Cedar Lake, though, it's not...
153rd is in the county
Well, then
jurisdiction.
why did the plan commission, and it's been tabled, have a possible development, I believe a John Lawton development, at that area there where they want to do the bridge, and he had wanted to have 2 bridges put in to access his development.
Here again, we cannot talk about that development or any other ones that he's doing. So you're not gonna get any answers from us, so don't ask us any more questions.
I can answer one. 153rd is in the county jurisdiction, 100%. It is. It's not ours.
Then why did they have to go through you to try to get the development?
I can't talk about it. That's
I told you,
the
we're not
Okay,
asking more
listen,
questions.
I understand, but I'm very worried
Well, then,
because.
but we can't tell you.
Okay,
We can't give you any answers. We're legally bound not to tell you.
Because
Talk
we
about it.
tabled it.
I understand that, but it really worries me.
Okay, so
because-
stop talking about it if you understand it.
Oh, I don't want to talk about the development, I'm talking about the bridge.
But that's not us.
It's not us, it's the county. The county's doing
The
that.
bridge was approved by the county. I was sitting up here when it was discussed many moons ago. It was a wooden bridge, and we were all scratching our head, I was scratching my head about that.
But it's not us, it wasn't us.
It
So we
was
shouldn't
not
be
us,
talking about
it was the
anything.
county.
Yeah, the motivation behind it is what disturbs me.
Fine,
Because that will be.
do you have anything else?
That will be your problem then with the tabling. Well, I had wanted to have information. I do not get YouTube, programs from the.
So you have nothing else,
Cedar
okay,
Lake.
thank you. Do we have any more public comment?
In Germany, I do not get your.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And I think you were very rude.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good evening, Terry Brothers, 145 13 Morse. Couple of things, I just would like to add a little bit of information on working my way backwards up the list. It is to my recollection that there was discussion at the Cedar Lake storage location about office space. There was discussion about parking space for office space. There was discussion about how many handicaps. Now, I can't recall what board that took place in front of. It could have been the appeals board. But there was open dialogue, and I don't know if there was anything granted, voted on, or approved.
For Cedar Lake storage, there was.
Yes,
This
yes,
is a
there
different
was.
storage unit, or different storage.
It's not Cedar Lake Storage.
It's, what's the name of that?
It's on 141st, across the street from Railside.
Face store, Cedar Lake.
My mistake. And then going up the list, moving on to the Store Safe property on 41. I think I do believe that the presenter, the owners, the applicants, I believe in my heart they are gonna do everything they say they're gonna do. The passion shows, he's literally jumped through every hoop he's been presented with. There's just a couple things that I hope that in this document, this legal document that's gonna be presented and signed off on. There's a few things that I'm hoping be included into that document.
Terry, let me interrupt you for a minute. They are not present,
Yeah,
and they
but-
should be present to hear where your comments are. So I do not want you to make any comments about that without them being present.
John, and I appreciate your comment, but you did not open it back up to public comments after his public comments, I don't believe, have been closed yet. And you didn't open it up at that time, as you did for the next presenter, you did open it up at the end. And I know it's an easy mistake to make, but I didn't get that opportunity then. And these are not negative, I promise you,
It
these are not
doesn't make
negative.
any difference, I will not listen to them. I'm telling you not to talk about it without them present at this public comment.
Okay, then,
Period.
so, and they are coming back, and I appreciate that, and I thought that vote was very important. Thank you for that. There's a couple of things that I think were left open that are important. And I appreciate the rule, but my question to you then, sir, would you make sure that the public comment will be reopened at the next meeting, so that way we can make those comments? And I know that when people are done here, they like to leave and go home. And I think we could have, if it was open, we would have made these comments, they would have got done real easy, because they're all to protect the public and to make
I'll
sure we
grant
get
you
what we
that I
want.
made some mistakes tonight on that,
And
and I will correct them,
and I wanna
and I
work with
stand
you, too.
corrected. I'm the first one to admit that I made a mistake.
So did my
So
own
I will do whatever it takes to get it done.
So for the
Point well
next,
taken.
so for
What
the
else do
next
you have?
time, we could just make sure we get that public comment while they're here, so that way they don't have to stay.
Terry, I got the point.
Thank you, sir.
Any other public comments? Any other public comments? Seeing none, we're adjourned.